But you still don't know the Bible, though.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, do I not know the Bible because I'm of the hermeneutics or because of the Holy Spirit? I need to know where you stand on this, Veckel.
Both, depending on the context of what we're talking about.
To be fair, you are a fucking reprobate.
I am a fucking reprobate.
No, you don't. Well, Slim Jim doesn't know that. Neither do we.
The Lord don't know your heart.
That's what I'm saying.
The Lord doesn't exist. It's made up.
How do you know that?
No, I'm taking the side of the Lord. I'm just saying you have to suffer more patience. Go ahead.
I can't possibly be butthurt because you haven't brought anything to the table that's substantial. No, don't do that. You see how atheists
so how do I know that your Christian God doesn't exist? I know that the flood didn't happen. I know that two people didn't populate this whole world.
Watch the hands.
I also
you see what he's doing?
Watch the hands.
You see.
This is way over your head, Rage. First of all, praise is not a one.
Maybe.
The oneness doctrine.
I don't do stupid very well. What's up, you godless bastards? Welcome back to The Rage. John is here. We're going to have fun tonight. It's going to be a shorter one. I'm going to try to keep it to 2 hours tonight. I'm setting up hopefully my first real official debate for tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. John is just really hearing about that for the first time, probably. It'll be against Leo Filius versus Jamie Black. It'll be a philosophical debate. Can't remember what it's on. But it looks like that's going to be a go for tomorrow night. But what's up?
I'm always last to know.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I've been waiting. Like I've been for a couple of days now. I'm like, hey, y'all. I brought them together on my Facebook, and I'm like, let's do this. Let's settle this time. I thought I was working Thursday, but I'm working Friday, so I'm like, all right, we can do it this Thursday. And now, like right before the show, I was on Facebook. So 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Let's do a format. So yeah. First debate tomorrow night, John. It's gonna be fun.
Leo.
Me and you moderating, if you can be here, that of course.
Probably. I mean, I have no life.
Yeah, neither do I. Not much.
You know, and I just have to wholeheartedly concur. You know, with the fellas you were playing earlier. I mean, yeah, you never bring anything substantial, dude. You're the most insubstantial person I know. You know, like. Never anything substantial.
I know. I just had a dude the other day give me a really good compliment. It's like I'm awesome and he's addicted, and I love it when I get those compliments. But then I have the Christians that think otherwise.
Well, and then that was Veckel that said that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how motherfucking funny is it? Veckel telling somebody else they never bring anything of substance. I mean, you know, like that would like be me going in on somebody for missing a finger, you know, like.
Well, I enjoy it. I have fun with it. I did need to take a little time away from the Christians. I was getting overwhelmed with stupidity, but I think I'm recovering. We're setting up a good show tomorrow. John, you know about Friday, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Friday.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I almost went and watched it today. I'm going to take a look at it tomorrow. But what's the name of this one?
It's The Atheist Religion, sequel of Science Falsely So-Called. Yes, we do have a Brett Keane. He's itching to come in. I'll be throwing the link in the side chat in a moment, Brett. Chill your roll.
We have
2
Brett
hours.
Yeah.
The official Brett Keane, John.
Really?
Yeah, itching to come in.
It's the manatee himself, man.
Yeah. Don't say that. You'll hurt his feelings. Oh, this is gonna be fun tonight. So, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I knew that, you know, every time we have a live stream, there's always a chance that stupid will show up. I mean, but I didn't think like the epitome of stupid would show up.
So it looks like we're gonna have John Peterson versus Brett Keane. I'm about to throw the link in the side chat.
Yeah, no,
we don't
there's
even
no-
need to talk. Jesus, here we go.
Well,
'Cause
no, I mean, there's no versus about it. I mean, Brett Keane, like,
all right. Well, have you ever been in a room with Brett Keane, John?
I can't remember if I have or not.
Well, it's
I
always,
usually
it's always
don't.
a
I
rodeo.
usually don't take note of inconsequential events.
Well, you're in for a rodeo tonight. Link is in the side chat. I was thinking we can open it up with a discussion on Jesus. In general, we could talk about whether or not he existed. We could talk about whether if he did exist, but he was a man and everything in the Bible was exaggerated, then does that even matter? because then he's just a man. So, you know.
Well, wait a minute though. I thought Brett Keane was an atheist.
Yeah, he's a Christian.
I could have swore he was an atheist, man.
Way back in the day.
Huh. Okay.
There's no joke there. Are you being serious?
Oh no, that was the joke.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought he was an atheist. I mean, didn't he used to be an atheist?
I don't know. Wrong link. How is that? I gave you guys the right link. Here, let's do it again. So maybe it just didn't register, and I gave you guys the wrong link. Sorry about that. You know, I'm drinking. It's sweet tea.
Yeah, you
ladies and gentlemen.
you gave the YouTube link. You gave the link to the fucking stream itself.
I didn't even copy that fucking link. Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
That's what it says on my phone.
That's crazy. All right. Well, the link is now in the side chat, y'all. I've been chilling today. I'm kind of a little bit out of sorts. I haven't really done a live stream in a bit. All right. So, all right. Let me get you guys into the stream. So there we go.
Can you make this any bigger for me?
What do you mean?
Well, like usually, like when we're done with the opening, you're able to make all the faces full screen instead. I'm looking at your.
All right. Yeah, I got you. All right.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. All right.
Hey, Leo, what's up?
The first link worked for me.
It said YouTube on my phone.
Oh, well, no, see, he posted the YouTube link, and then later down it has the.
Yeah, I saw the StreamYard link when he put it in there too.
I don't know.
All right, so Ray, can you hear me on the microphone?
Yeah, what's up, Brett?
Brett Bean is here, huh?
Well, I came in here to hang out with you, Rage. I don't give a shit about an Ease loser pussies that got no life.
Oh, okay. Hey,
gonna be
be
fun.
careful.
I'm pretty sure I've got a lot more life than you. Do you want to see it?
Who is this Peterson guy? Go fuck
Brett,
yourself.
Hey, Brett, you can shut the fuck up right now.
Oh,
Look,
shit.
All right.
yeah,
fuck
hey,
you.
we don't.
Oh shit! John will mute
Hey,
you.
so check it out. I got a over and under here. What's the over and under on how long it takes Brett to show TJ Kirk's cock?
I don't know. Like,
What cock are you talking about there, Mr. Peterson?
You should know John has full power on this channel, and like I could
I
tell
ask
him
a quick
something, but
question?
he could just tell me to shut the fuck up. We
Yeah,
had
I
that
could.
talk.
I could fucking Gavin you right now.
Can I ask a quick question?
Well, Ray,
fucking
I asked to come in here to talk to you. He's the one that started the shit.
I
You know this.
It's gonna be fun.
I have
What shit did I start? What shit did I start, Brett?
John is feisty.
No,
Never
I'm saying, I
talked
didn't
to you
start- I
before in
didn't
my
start-
life,
I
and I'm
didn't
gonna start
start
calling
no
you
shit. How
fucking
did I
names
start-
before
how
you
did I
even come in the
start
room.
How did I start any shit?
Hey, suck a cock. Back to Rage.
Brett,
can I ask a quick
John
question?
John will mute the fuck out of your ass.
I'll
So
just do
you
that.
better be respectful.
Oh.
I guess he decided to leave. I was going to ask him a couple.
No. I put him backstage just to
Okay.
fuck with him.
Can I? Well,
Wait
I
a minute. I
want
keep
to
trying
ask
to bring
him a
him back
question.
and won't come back.
So you talk shit and then knock me into backstage? Is that what it
Well, you
is?
haven't said anything yet. You're just.
I would really like to ask Brett Keen here.
Hey, I thought you were an atheist, Brett.
All right, yeah, let's bring some
Well, how
order.
stupid you are.
My moderator's triggered.
Well, no, I mean, last time I'm not triggered, but the last time I ever saw you do anything, and you were an atheist.
Oh shit.
Don't know what to tell you. That was like, what, 10 years ago?
Oh shit! I guess I've been out of the Brett Keen zone for a long time.
Can I ask my question now?
Yes, please.
Oh, go ahead, Leo.
Is this the same Brett Keen that's written like 10 books and literally none of them have like sold a single fucking copy?
I don't know about 10 books, but they've definitely sold copies.
Yeah, well, like maybe like eight copies of each.
It's in fucking Urkel. Calm it down. This isn't about my books. This is about Jesus, chat. You bet.
Urkel, I'm way fucking
Urkel,
smarter
calm
than-
down. I
I'm
don't
way
want your growing
smarter.
pains right now.
I'm way smarter than Steve Urkel could ever hope to be. He was just some nerd.
And he was a famous movie star, and you're a nobody.
No, I'm definitely
I
not
don't
a
even have to do
nobody.
nothing.
Obviously, I have
Welcome
a personality.
Dragnot to
That
this shit
statement
show.
just doesn't even make any sense. It's almost like you
We
don't
gonna
know how to
some
use
Jesus
words.
talk, or am I going to listen to Urkel fucking babble all night?
Hey, Brett, there's a question for you from the
I mean,
chat.
I can do that, but you won't be
Hey,
able
hold
to
on,
keep
Leo,
up at
hold on,
all
Leo,
because
Leo,
your
Leo,
IQ is
Leo,
probably
Leo,
about as
Leo.
low as fucking.
Leo,
What?
hold on.
It's probably about as low as the temperature
question
outside
for
right
you
now.
There's a question for you from the chat, Brett. Brian Steven wants to know if you think Trump won the election.
I think that there was voters fraud, and there's plenty of evidence for it.
Really? Then how come the Attorney General of the United States said there's literally no evidence of any voter fraud anywhere? The same Attorney General
Who
that
gives a
Donald
fuck
Trump
what
himself
A.G. Barr
appointed.
says? He hasn't done
Wait.
anything.
So
since
the
he's been in
Attorney
there.
General of the United
There's
States,
plenty of
is a guy
evidence for voter
nominated by
fraud.
Donald
You have
Trump
to be
doesn't
a
know
fucking
anything?
retard to think that there wasn't some bullshit going on.
Well, I am a retard because I have Asperger's, but I'm still infinitely smarter than you could
So,
ever.
yeah,
hope to
you're
be.
autistic, obviously. So,
Yeah, and
Raging,
you know
you
what,
haven't even.
Brett Keen-
Why is it that atheists
Shut the
have
fuck
even
up,
came out
Brett.
and stated that they see that there's fucking fraud? You're the only one that
Alright.
seems to be having the issue.
Oh, just hold on
Actually,
for a
that's
second.
not true.
Hold on.
An
How you
ego
doing?
issue
yeah.
for sure.
Let's bring some
SCOTUS
control.
came out and said there
let-
was no voter fraud.
All right, control.
Fucking idiot.
I heard Dragnot try to pipe in. Dragnot must be here for a reason. This is gonna be this is like I've had the dumpster fire shit going since we started. So welcome, Dragnot. Yeah, go ahead and pipe in, and John, let's bring some control to this madness.
I just wanted to say hi, Brett. How you doing?
Are we going to be doing the Jesus chat, or is this just going to be
Yeah,
fucking drama?
the only one that needs to be controlled is the fat wannabe Santa without a beard.
Say it to my face, fag boy.
I probably would.
Say it to my face, because I'd bust you down.
Brett, so
That's the
you
fucking
could- you
truth.
could
fight
You're
your way out of
internet
a
commando. No,
Just
you're
calm
a
down.
guy on
It's
the
okay.
internet, but you're a bunch of bitches.
It
Fuck
happens.
you,
It happens.
losers.
Oh my god.
I had a
Why
are
feeling,
you
Ray,
here?
this wasn't going to be
Okay.
about Jesus chat. You just
Stop.
want to start drama.
That's
That's
fine.
too
Brett,
bad.
just calm down.
No,
Brett,
it's just fun
Fuck
poking
you,
you.
losers. Fuck you, losers.
It's
Brett.
really fun poking you and watching the way that you jiggle and keep jiggling.
You
'cause you're
do.
so
Well,
fucking
here.
obese.
Check that out, bitch. What do you think?
Wow, I
You
don't
like
even
that?
see a penis. Is
You
that
nailed
you?
it.
Wait, is
You
that
called
is
it.
that Brett? Was that him?
I think it
No,
was. I'm assuming it
Oh,
was.
baby.
No,
I'm assuming it was.
porn bombing.
Ooh,
My-
that's not looking so good.
He's porn bombing.
Shit.
So that's one of the reasons. One of the reasons I came in is that if he's wanting to talk to you, he's probably going to try and porn bomb you with TJ Kirk's cock. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
That's I called that the moment he got here.
yeah. I mean, I could still barely see it, but still, yeah. Anyway,
Damn, I wish I could unsee that.
I mean, I had to.
I didn't
get
really
pretty
see
close.
anything to begin with. That's why I thought it was Brett Keen.
Hey, Drag, guess whose channel I just fucking subscribed to today?
Emo.
Yeah, I saw that
I
shit.
figured as much. Yeah.
Dude, do you know which video is it where he's pounding on the fucking table?
Every
Uh,
video.
Every video he says.
We
Well, no.
heard poor little Brett Keen's feelings.
That was absolutely hilarious.
Did you guys have disruption in your internet, or was it just me?
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't.
It was just me. Then.
All right.
Yeah, that's me.
So
Everything's so.
that was
Brett
pleasant.
Keen get-
That was
King
really
can
funny.
get so butthurt over the tiniest little things.
Yeah,
I really didn't say anything. I really didn't say anything that bad. I didn't think.
I think it was more.
No, you didn't.
You guys,
No,
let's
he's
stop
already
over
kind of
talking.
triggered.
All right, go ahead, Drag.
He's
I'm
all,
sorry.
he's well, no, it's he's been kind of popping back and forth between different people's discords and trying to generate more, controversy for his channel. I recently talked to someone he was trying to get on recently, but they backed out because they, I think, figured out who he is. Last time he and I spoke was about almost 3 weeks ago in a Discord where I guess he was going to try and talk to me about evolution. Didn't really go anywhere because, well, he didn't know very much. I'm pretty sure Leo and everyone else here knows that. But just being very cordial to him, not insulting him, same effect. It really does not matter. If he can't get one up over on you, then he just sort of lays there and, or he'll show you his belly.
Well, of course he lays there because he can't roll over and get up. He's so fucking fat.
Well, it looked like he was going old school Brett King there, like past the
Wait a
the
minute.
smoke and all that.
I used the word manatee. I think that might be what set him off. I called him the manatee before he got here.
Yeah, I told you he was going to hurt his feelings.
Yes. Can you guys imagine that? I'm going to actually take off and make room for someone else. But at one point in time, people used to be scared to talk to him. There was once upon a time. Believe it or not.
Well, hey, we can have up to 10 drag. We can have up to 10 people, so you wouldn't be making room for anybody. But if you
Yeah.
have to-
No, I'm on my phone. It's low, and I need to actually sit down and work on this paper because it's due next week, along with a bunch of other shit. So I'll probably listen in a little bit here and there.
I appreciate you coming on, Drag. That was hilarious. I knew as soon as you came on, it was going to just be a moment of time before he was gone, and it was quicker than I thought it would be. But I forgot about the whole TJ Kirk thing, and yeah, he's been doing that in a lot of rooms. I should have been quicker on the ball with getting that shit out of here.
well, and then I fucking snap him back in because we're both trying to get rid of him at the same time. And
I was like, does Brett Keane have magical powers? How is he doing this? And then I'm like, oh, it's John. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All
kind
right,
of weird.
thank you for coming on, Drag. That was hilarious.
I mean, he might have magical powers considering he looks like Santa Claus without the beard. I mean, you never know.
Syphilis Santa Claus. Yeah.
Yeah.
syphilis Santa Claus.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Peace out.
Later, drag.
No, I think he would be too fat to go down the chimney.
No, not just that, but the reindeer wouldn't be able to get the sleigh off the ground, even without the presents.
And it's funny because like he doesn't like he doesn't watch my channel, but like if he just watched the open rooms, he'd understand like topics mean nothing here. Like we're gonna talk about whatever we want. And when Brett Keane comes in the room, like as soon as I saw him in the side chat asking for a link, I'm like, here we go. And
I was hoping
and that was why you ended up having to step in because I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna let Dumpster Fire go. I didn't stop anybody from talking.
Not every time Brett King comes in here, we're gonna have a dumpster fire.
Well, I mean, I've had good conversations with him, but it's well beyond that point now. It's well beyond that point, and yeah, I don't even know like why he's deciding all of a sudden to come in this. Oh yeah, because he's been doing that to everybody. He's been doing exactly that. Porn bombing people as soon as they piss him off. So he probably can't get on nobody's streams anymore. So he's here tonight, and now, yeah, you fucked it up here too, dude. You could have came in and dealt with the shit, but it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. It was fun while it lasted.
Somebody's suggesting in the chat. Who the heck was it? It was Germania saying you should do response videos to IP.
Yeah, I've done one or two. He frustrates the shit out of me.
Who are you guys talking about?
Inspiring philosophy.
I've thought about doing response videos to how woefully bad he is at quantum mechanics, but I just don't think it's even worth my time, honestly.
Yeah, I've done a couple on him, but it doesn't really seem like people really care too much about it. I don't know. I might do a few more.
Leo, I would really like to see some response videos from you to Hyperianism.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, fucking God. He's like this he's like this scientism freak. And when I say scientism, I do mean scientism. I don't mean like science. I mean like
Yeah,
science.
scientism. That the only way you can ever answer anything is through science, which is not the case.
Hey, CJ, if you're not at work, come on in, man.
But anyway, I don't know if that's his name. That's the fucking quote unquote religion that he's founded. So you may have to Google Hyperianism. It's just exactly what it sounds like. I think Martimer 81 does some crap on him too.
Yeah, I'm always looking for new stuff. I need new stuff because I get so.
There is a channel called Hyperianism.
Okay, there is. All right.
I don't know. I can't say it's his, but
Well, this dude has this like black makeup and black eye makeup, and he like tries to make it like a cat clawed him in the eye with black eye makeup, and he's got long blonde hair.
that's a little weird.
Hey, real quick, I need to interject here. So Brett just admitted in live chat that he is an atheist. Believe it or not, he said, and I quote,
It's gone.
where did that fall? Oh, he erased it already?
I erased him.
Well, if he's an atheist, how come he?
Well, because he
doesn't believe
said
in voter fraud?
atheist porn. He said atheist porn will not be tolerated, reported. So he's the one to put the porn in. So I guess he's admitting he is still an atheist. He's just doing the Jesus thing for his Amazon wish list.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, can manatees even worship religion? Yeah, that's funny. He gave me what I guess needed to ban him for a while. So yay, Brett Keane. Way to make it an interesting start to the evening. We've wasted
Like how he said.
the first half hour of the stream on the shit stain that is Brett Keane. Way to go.
I like how his screen name is Brett Keane Official, because he's being confused with all these other Brett Keanes.
Yeah, kind of like Matt.
Yeah, he's trying to be Matt Powell. I
wanted to say really quickly, Lucifer Almighty said in the chat, IP refutes himself in his own sources. It's kind of why I don't plan on making any videos about him, because the things that he says go against the other things that he says. Like in one of his arguments, he says something that because matter is defined by a wave function, and a wave function is just a complex valued vector in a Hilbert space, which is abstract, therefore matter is abstract. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because a Hilbert space isn't like something that exists out there in reality, but it's abstract. It's literally just something that humans invented that we utilize to describe things in reality. So
well, Ochantolo does the same thing.
Exactly.
And I told him on my channel, I said, dude, you might want to get these sources in your first language, because things don't always translate correctly, and it might be easier in your first language to understand this stuff. And he took offense at that, and I was being really nice about it.
Well, that's the thing, is that, and I got to be honest, I like Otangelo. He's decent to have a conversation with. He tends to be a little long-winded, but if you know how to handle that, and I do, from having to handle Nephilim Free for the last 5 years.
No, Otangelo is very fun to be around. But he got a little butt hurt when I.
Well, yeah, it's not just him; it's a lot of them. They don't know how to take constructive criticism, because they assume that they're always in the right, and there's no way they could be wrong. I mean, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 people in here. What was that, last week? Telling him that when he talks about DNA literally being a code and cells literally being a factory, that's just explicitly wrong. He's doing what, as the old adage goes, he's confusing the map with the place, if you can kind of figure out what that means, then that's exactly what he's doing. I even asked on Speed of Sound of Gravity's channel, who you should be subscribed to if you're not, because you're wasting your life if you're not, where we had Dmitry Kunev, who is a PhD molecular biologist and active origins of life researcher, and I asked him, is DNA, as in the molecule itself, a code? And he said, well, the molecule itself isn't a code, but the things that DNA does could be considered code, yes. And that's, that's acceptable. The molecule itself is exactly that. It's just a molecule.
That's why I suggested he look up the papers in his native language, because like I said, not all things translate. Like, not exactly correctly, but...
Well, wait a minute. So they translate scientific papers to stupid?
I mean, you gotta ask the question, though, like, is the alphabet a code? No, but it
is kind of a code table because it gives you symbols that have meaning and that can be strung together to give meaning to something or between two parties. So
that's
I mean,
kind of what DNA does, though, at a molecular level, right?
Not really. Those are just analogical ways that we describe what it does because it makes it easier to understand what it's doing. Kind of like how we call stars factory, or we say that black holes eat things. Black holes don't literally eat things. It's just gravity doing what gravity does.
Whether we put the term code on it or not doesn't prove the existence of God. And
exactly.
That's
even if it was a code, all it would show is that nature can make codes. That's literally all.
So if you put DNA under a powerful enough microscope to see it, do you actually see the A's and the C's and the T's and the?
Nope.
Yeah,
those are
that's all I need to know.
Yeah, those are just the first letters of the molecules: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine that make up DNA, or that make up part of DNA. Because I think those are attached to a ribose, something like that. I don't know. Immutable would have to come in.
The ribose sugar. Ribose sugar.
Base, a sugar, and a
I know there's a ribose sugar and a phosphate in it. I don't know what else.
But
I'm not a biochemist.
I've only got about an hour and a half, though. Let's not get too far into a science discussion. I do want to. Are you going to be available at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, Leo?
Yes.
All right. So hammer out the format that you want, and then let me know.
I'm okay if it's just kind of more of an open discussion rather than like a structured debate. I'm okay with really any structure to a debate as long as there is an open dialogue period.
Yeah. So I know Jamie wants a debate, and
I'm okay with like 10 minute openings, and then maybe like 5 minutes. And then maybe like 2 5-minute responses, and then like an open dialogue, and then maybe like 5-minute closings at some point, and then a Q&A if there's people asking questions. But I definitely want an open dialogue. I don't debate if there's not an open dialogue.
Can we do a cage match?
I don't know.
I want to see Leo in a cage match.
Well, yeah, there should always be an open dialogue in any debate. But all right, all right, cool. So tomorrow, first debate. But let's talk. I don't know anything.
Let's talk Jesus.
We can talk some Jesus. I would love to get people's perceptions on the reality of Jesus. But we could talk pretty much about anything. Otangelo's here now. What's up, Otangelo?
Yes, hello guys.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can everybody see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what the fuck is that? What I'm seeing on my screen right now in StreamYard, is that happening to anybody else?
What?
I'm just seeing everybody's face, their avatar.
That's really
Is there like little circles and all the boxes spinning?
No, there's like flickering, like it goes black and then it comes back. It's just like some people it's green. I don't know what the fuck.
Maybe it's your eyes.
No, it's definitely not.
I don't know.
Really
Nobody else
weird.
is seeing it.
Well, as long as my connection's good, I guess I don't care.
God damn it. I'm sorry, Doc.
So anyway, I don't understand how these people can say that Jesus really existed when, first of all, nobody really would care at that point in time whether he existed or not. And second of all, there was no census. of
What?
Quirinius at that time. So why would
He was crucified. What do you mean? Of course they cared. They cared enough to crucify him.
Well, they only crucified him because Jesus was not like this vastly important figure that everybody knew about and everybody wanted to see. He was some guy spreading a message that went against what the church thought, and then the church lobbied the Roman
Guys, you can't talk over one another. Go ahead. Leo.
Then so he was some guy that was preaching a message that went against what the Jewish church taught, and so the Jewish church lobbied the Roman state to have him crucified, and they had him crucified, and he was probably dumped in a mass grave, which was ubiquitous with people who were crucified then. The fact that he was taken off the cross and put in his own tomb does not stack up with literally anything we know about Roman history, especially as it concerns crucifixion.
All right, Lisa, go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, and there is no census of Quirinius in the record, none whatsoever. And even if there was, there is no fucking way the Romans would make people go to their quote unquote home city that they weren't even born in, but the city of their ancestors, because that would be way fucking, first of all, too long, and second of all, way too complicated for everybody. They would do it in the town that they lived in.
All right, well, let's let go ahead, Sunflower, respond.
Well, first of all, Lisa, you're aware that this is like a contrarian point of view that most historians, secular and religious alike, disagree with. I'm just to be clear, like I'm not even going into what you said, but are you aware that this is totally like at odds with the vast majority of professional secular historians?
What's that?
To what are you referring?
What was that?
To what are you referring?
The fact that Jesus like didn't exist or something, like that no one would have cared about him. He didn't exist. All that, like Jesus as a historical figure. You're basically saying it never would have happened that way. I'm just asking if you're aware that it's at odds with the historical consensus in academia.
Actually, more and more of academia would consider themselves to be outright mythicists. More and more.
More and more.
Guys, you gotta let me finish fucking talking here.
and check it out. Tioga started it in the private chat, so there's enough people in here. We're going to go to the hands.
I think Mama was first, actually.
Well, yeah, she raised her hand on screen, but Mama, what we do is we just type the word hand in the private chat. But go ahead, Mommy Atheist.
Well, there was nothing in the private chat, so I figured we weren't doing that. No, I mean, aside from the fact that there is next to no evidence whatsoever that an actual historical Jesus existed. I mean, considering the way that the Romans kept records and everything, even on their slaves. But even if you take, you take that and say, okay, well, maybe an historical Jesus existed, it's still just a guy that, was a fanatic, taken outside of his religion. There's no actual mystical purpose to it. Even if he existed, even if he was crucified, it really means absolutely nothing. So, and this is something I've talked with GE about because, he does a lot of the mythicism stuff and disproves the existence of a historical Jesus. And I asked him, not in a, I wasn't trying to be rude or anything, but just a question, like, even if he did, though, what does that matter? Because of the fact that, he wasn't the Son of God. He was just like a David Koresh, a guy who thought that he was everything. So what does it matter anyway? That's what I'm asking.
You've not only moved the goalpost, you've changed teams and started attacking a goal on the other side of the field. That's literally not what we were talking about at all.
What are you talking about, Sunflower? Look, Tioga, you're next. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's see if Sunflower can catch up while you're talking. Go ahead.
I agree with Mama Atheist that even if a person named Jesus existed, doesn't prove
I'll be right back.
any miracles or anything that at all, really.
That wasn't the topic, though.
But yeah. Okay, whatever, Sunflower. Anyways,
we don't really have a topic. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I was addressing Lisa, saying that that she was literally explicitly going after the record as to whether or not Jesus was even a person in history.
Well,
That's what I
anyways,
was
how is that not on topic?
Exactly, and that's what Mama Atheist was talking about. Like,
No, because you said, well, even if he was, and then you said even if he was, and then switched the conversation to that doesn't make him the son of God.
Well,
That's an entirely different conversation.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
No, it's not the same conversation.
All right,
Go
so
ahead,
he's doing what he does. Yeah, finish Tioga.
Yeah, I was going to say that to me, it seems like Jesus is more of like an amalgamation of concepts, like religious concepts over time and in many geographical areas. I'm not entirely convinced that a person named Jesus existed at all or was crucified. It seems that you can trace back through time and see the evolution of Jesus, both in his depiction and what his works were. But yeah, that's it.
All right, Leo, you got back just in time.
Oh, is it my turn?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. So number one, I'm going to need to see some data from academia demonstrating that mythicism is on the rise amongst scholars, because that seems to be something that's only perpetuated by lay people that are already mythicists, which it is. I don't care what anybody thinks. It is a fact. Overwhelmingly, but the breathtakingly vast majority of scholars that study the subject do accept that there is a historical Jesus, and there is some reasonable evidence to think that, namely, that his crucifixion was talked about before any of the Gospels were written. That was talked about long before any of the Gospels were written, like maybe within the first decade after he supposedly died, which is a good indication that there obviously was somebody that was crucified that was probably some popular doomsayer in the region, somebody that we could call Jesus. This is accepted by the vast majority of the historians. Not to mention that there are other historians of that time that did reference Jesus, and a lot of people try to say, oh, well, they weren't really referencing, him historically, but that's not what the scholars say. And given that I am not a New Testament scholar or an antiquity scholar, I have to go with what the scholars say, and the scholars seem to be indicating that there was a historical Jesus.
I don't necessarily think that Knock was like saying that the majority of scholars.
I was just saying that broadly.
I
I
never got a chance to finish what I was fucking saying, so it doesn't even matter. So people can combat what I was saying. Y'all jumped all over me before I got to finish it, and I haven't had a chance since. So
I wasn't.
Y'all keep piling up on that stupid ass.
I wasn't addressing particularly you. I was speaking broadly.
No, but what I'm saying is he was just saying that more and more people are going to the mythicist side.
I need to see data indicating that is the case, because that does not seem to be the case.
Have you studied the history, or are you just or have you studied the history surrounding Jesus Christ?
Yes, I have.
So what about that history tells you that Jesus Christ actually existed?
Well, one of the ones is that I said that within the first century or the first decade after his death, there were already stories of the resurrection.
Because he didn't
probably Yeshua.
Did he see Did he see Jesus be crucified, or did he talk to people that talked about Jesus being crucified? This first person you're talking about in history.
I'm not talking about a first person. It's just it's the oral traditions that were passed around within the first decade after his death.
You said within a decade after he died, one guy talked about something or another, Leo.
I didn't say
I'm calling you out on it. Did he see Jesus get crucified?
I didn't say one guy. I said people were talking about his did I say resurrection? Because if I did, I meant crucifixion. Obviously, people don't come back from the dead.
I think that would point more to that it is the mythicist position that was reported after his death. 10 years later.
Wait. We got people. First of all, Mama had one thing to add to what she said a few minutes ago, and then after that, Otangelo's been waiting to get in for over 5 minutes. So go ahead, Mama.
Peter actually said that that Christianity completely falls apart if Jesus didn't exist, wasn't crucified, and came back from the dead. It was spun greatly. I'm speaking to actual historical records, not after the fact, whatever. So, but I'm saying there was a lot there was a big push in order to hold on to this religion. They needed Jesus not only to exist, but to have died and come back from the dead. So that was what I was going to add.
Well, and they most likely borrowed those ideas from previous religious traditions. Go ahead, Otangelo.
Well, either Jesus was who he said to be, the Son of God, or he was a crazy lunatic, or he was a liar. These are the three possibilities. Now, in regards of the historicity of Jesus,
Well, hold on real quick. Those aren't the only three possibilities. Why does he have to be crazy?
I mean, he could have been just a crazy lunatic and claiming that he was the Son of God and everything else. I mean, there are many crazy people around which make absolutely astonishing claims about themselves. And we see that even today, people that claim to be Jesus and so forth. So,
the point I'm trying to make to you, though, Otangelo, is that he could have existed as a man, and the claims that you're talking about were made up by other people. He might not have made any claims at all. He might have just been a preacher, that.
Well, this is also a silly position, John. It is a possibility. I agree with you, but in face of the New Testament and the epistles of the Apostle Paul and everything that has been written, I mean, Jesus is the most important person in the entire history of humanity, and claiming that he didn't never exist, that it's just absolutely crazy.
No, you have
Wait, please wait.
Now, I would like to.
Well, no, but the reason we stop you when you say something like that is we don't want you to gish gallop past that, because when you say he was the most important person in human history, we have to analyze that.
That's not
true. Because I can, off the top of my head, name like 20 historical figures that are more.
I would argue it's probably Genghis Khan, because if Genghis Khan never existed, majority of the people on the planet right now wouldn't exist.
You're taking into account that the people of Christianity, because guess what? Jesus Christ means dick all to atheists, to Buddhists, to Muslims, to anybody of any other religion.
No, Muslims and Jews care about Jesus, and actually, he is the main central rift of how many billions of people.
It's not.
In the Abrahamic religions, which accounts for billions of people, the figure of Christ has been by far the most, impactful figure, at least in the Abrahamic people of the Abrahamic religions. That's obviously indisputable. Now, if you want to.
Two out of three of the Abrahamic
Muslims don't give a fuck about you.
Well, hold on. If you want to, there's an argument to be made as to whether or not you can expand that to the Eastern religions. I agree. I 100% agree. Like when you consider how many billions of Buddhists and non-religious people there are in Asia, that in the world or in all of humanity, that's a good conversation. But by far, in terms of people that are of the Abrahamic religions, he's clearly, without a doubt, the most important human being.
I mean, hold on. We need a handle on this again, and Otangelo didn't get to finish his thought. But look, people just told you, Sunflower. Okay, when it comes to Islam, Muhammad's probably the most important person. When it comes to Jews, they don't even recognize Jesus as the Messiah. So did you say clearly, most important? No, I mean that there's only 2.2 billion Christians on the planet, and that we have in excess of 7 billion people.
No, wait a second. Important doesn't mean they favor him or worship him. Like, for example, in terms of European Jewish history, Hitler,
no, but hold on, Sunflower. We're talking about Otangelo's claim that Jesus was the most important person in human history.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely true for the people of the Abrahamic religions. It's not necessarily true for the entire human race.
I understand that, but you said the Abrahamic. Wait a minute. The Abrahamic religions include Judaism and Islam.
Who have
Islam, Jesus
on Christ. Their stance on the Islamic and the Jewish stance on Christ is such a bold one that it's caused rifts throughout the entire world. I mean, like it's not some trivial thing. Like think about Sunni and Shia Islam.
Maybe it's Christianity's stance on Jesus that have caused rifts throughout the entire world.
Well, yeah, and if Christianity's stance is juxtaposed and confronts the stance of Jews and Muslims, then it's their problem whether they like it or not. So you guys aren't really understanding.
It's your the same is reversed, but right back to you. Like it's your problem that Muhammad did what he did. How can you sit here and say that Muhammad wasn't the most important person within Abrahamics? He came after Jesus, and they've done a lot more damage.
Yeah, because that's a good question. He might be the second most important, but I would say it's because he didn't live during the time of the Old and New Testament, right? He was like several hundred
What
years
does
after.
that have to do with anything?
Well, he just doesn't have as
What
much.
does that have to do with anything?
Well, just a second. So, but he did live within the time and created his own book, that Quran thing, and then they have the Hadith, and they have all of that you don't have. So, who's to say you're the one that isn't fucking up the whole Abrahamic religion with your whole Jesus is God thing?
Okay. Let me. I guess when Atangelo said that, I took when he said important. I kind of
you just being you playing your team sports, dog. It's cool.
No.
He said the most important man.
Yeah, I don't consider the word important to mean like everyone favors him. I consider.
Okay, well, what do you think about the phrase "most important"?
Yeah, so like I said, you could say something along the lines of Hitler was the most important figure in 20th century Europe. That doesn't mean that he was like this awesome guy everyone loves. It means he kind of had the most impact. That's what I took what Artangelo said to mean. I could totally be wrong, but even beyond that, I even extended it to say there's too many billions of people in Eastern religions. I don't know that I can make the claim.
So then let's throw it back to Artangelo, and maybe he can clarify for you and finish.
Good idea.
Point.
Good idea.
Well, we have the Christian religion today geographically spread all around the world. We have about 100 million Christians in China. We have the South Pacific entirely evangelized. So the geographically distribution of Christianity, it has no parallel whatsoever with any other religion, and also the influence of the teachings of Christ to love our next. Can I finish? And the teachings of Christ to love our next as ourselves, that has basically shaped the entire Western civilization in many areas.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't.
Hold on, Lisa. You're next, but hold on, Lisa. Look, I would make the argument that ancient Grecian culture is what influenced Western civilization, is what Western civilization was born out of.
Yeah, it was
not
the
Christianity.
Romans. It was definitely the Romans. But we got to be honest here, Christianity did have a pretty impactful.
Leo, hold on. But Tangelo, I mean, why would you say Christianity? And then we're going to go to Lisa and Sunflowers after that. But why would you say Christianity is the basis of Western civilization?
Well, Christianity has influenced the development of the educational system. Then it has influenced the freedom of religious beliefs. It has influenced art, music, morality.
And no other culture or cultural edifice influenced those things prior to Christianity coming about?
Well, if you see what happened in the Western world, then it is definitely the Christian faith which has influenced all these things which I am mentioning. That is also.
Do you know anything about ancient? Do you know anything about ancient Greek culture
or ancient Roman?
Well, I am not saying that these cultures have as well influenced civilization, but I would say that the Christian concept
preceded Christianity as well.
Well, it's not about time, it's about the influence. And I think the Christian faith has influenced very different areas of humans, that is in regards of human rights, of equality of women, of politics, of social engagement and charity. And I mean, I can go deeper into each of all.
Yeah, well, on that note, let's get Lisa in here because she's been patiently waiting. Go ahead, Lisa.
Thanks. Slade has a very important point in the private chat. Christianity is other religions mixed and modified, and it is.
I don't know about that.
Well, it is.
Well, again, that's something the scholars don't say.
I've been looking at this for quite some time on my channel, and I see a lot of parallels between Christianity and other religions. However, that's not my point. My point, let's get back to when we were talking about Jesus even existing. Okay, so getting back to that, what I wanted to do was make the point that in Matthew mistranslated Isaiah 7:14. Actually, the Septuagint did, and Matthew took his mistranslation from the Septuagint to say that, you know, the person would be born of a virgin and all this. It's not a virgin, it's a young woman. So that.
I'm sorry, Lisa. Here, just have to interrupt. One of the two that just came in, we're getting playback from you. I don't know whether.
John's got a good computer because I couldn't hear it. Wow. Either that or his hearing's better than mine.
I'm actually deaf in my left ear. So look, we got a full house right now. So we are using the hand system. If anybody hasn't been here before, you just type the word hand in the private chat. And right now we've got Sunflower and Gary on deck. And something that I forgot to tell everybody, that came out of the stream a little. Okay, whatever that was, that came out of the stream a couple weeks ago, is that if, because if there's an ongoing conversation between a couple of people and you have a point to make on that, you want to get in and say something about the conversation that's going on right now, feel free to jump in and just go real quick. And, if you got like one or two sentences to say, because if you put your hand up in the side chat, we might be well past the point before you get to make your comment. So, but if you had any more to say, go ahead and finish up.
Yeah.
Lisa.
So that mistranslation from the Hebrew Jewish scriptures to the Septuagint, which would be the Greek Jewish scriptures, that mistranslation in Matthew automatically just takes away everything that Christianity is, because Christianity is based on the fact that Jesus was born of somebody who didn't have sex before then, and that is not what the Jewish scriptures say.
Okay. Sunflower, you were next.
Yeah, okay. So Wikipedia, a source I love to use. If you look up historicity of Jesus, about the second sentence, I think, is scholars differ on the beliefs and teachings of Jesus as well as the accuracy of the details of his life that have been described in the Gospels. But virtually all scholars support the historicity of Jesus and reject the Christ myth theory that Jesus never existed. And then it cites like literally 4 sources and a note. I'm not opposed to people. Obviously, I totally encourage, or at least embrace and encourage anyone who has an alternate theory. That's fine. That's great. If you have an alternate theory of history and you have certain evidence you want to bring up, well, that's, of course, you're right to do that. But I'm just saying, this is just, it's so widely not accepted by secular and non-religious people. All I was trying to do is say, because the way I heard it was Lisa was almost saying it like in a little bit of like a smug way, like, oh, they would never do that. Like, wow, look how silly the story is. That would, geez, clearly there was not even a real person. And I'm thinking like, well, let me
ask you, Sunflower, does the number of people that believe something necessarily make it true?
No, but if you're going to apply that standard of evidence, then you literally cannot say you believe in any historical figure unless there's like pictures of them. Basically, that's the level of evidence the standard of evidence you're basically applying here, which is just ridiculous. You don't even have to believe he was holy or divine or supernatural at all. You could be totally atheist and totally align your beliefs with everything atheist and just say like, yeah, evidence points that he probably exists, like what Leo is saying.
Because it does. I mean, it just does.
Yeah.
And then
I say something to Sunflower?
Hold on. I think Knock was trying to get in.
Yeah, before anybody else goes, I'm gonna finally address this because it's just people keep running with this shit. So mythicism is the position that Jesus wasn't God, and the history around Jesus was mythicized. That's what mythicism is. Within mythicism, the argument is, was Jesus made up or just a normal dude? When I state that more and more of academia is coming to the mythicist position, I am exactly right. The historical Jesus, quote unquote, argument is just an attempt for Christianity to keep the consensus of academia when they no longer have it. It's a moot fucking point. If Jesus doesn't have his magical powers, if Jesus isn't God, it doesn't fucking matter. He's just a fucking normal dude in history that people get fucking wet dreams about. We're talking about the magic shit here, guys. Without that, none of it matters.
That's not what Lisa was talking about.
Well, that's what we're talking about, Sunflower.
Actually, yes, I am, because the virgin birth is magic. I don't care whether you accept that it's magic or not, but it is magic.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, what Knock is saying is true. Okay, and if you talk to GE, he would tell you the same thing. I'm pretty sure. The other thing is that the way, well, you're shaking your head. You're next, Gary. You'll get to qualify your head shake there here in a second. The fact of the matter is not too long ago, sometime in the last century, maybe only 5% or less of the scientific community identifies as an atheist. Now it's up to 40% of the scientific community identify as atheists, non-believers. Okay, so you'd have to say that every one of those people falls on the mythicist side of Jesus, as Knock just described it. That they don't believe any of the supernatural shit, the coming back from the dead, the virgin birth, the Son of God, all that stuff. But maybe some of them, a lot of them, still think that some dude named Jesus existed, but he was just a preacher. And then, as Knock just said, all the stories around him were mythicized. But go ahead, Gary.
Okay, a couple of things. To Lisa at first, it wasn't a mistranslation. The term virgin meant young woman back then. It's begun to mean somebody who doesn't have sex now because of its connotations. It didn't mean that back then. So if you look at the Koine Greek, the term is anera, I believe. I think it's anera, something like that, which means young woman. It does not mean doesn't have sex. Doesn't mean that's what the term means.
Gary, can I say something right quick? There is a episode, I think it's less than 10 minutes long, on Paulogia's channel, where Paulogia brings in Digital Hammurabi, who is not only an archaeologist, but has also graduated from seminary, but now he's an atheist. He explains this. Go to Paulogia's channel. It's something about virgin conception or something. And
immaculate conception. Yeah, but the thing is he gets it wrong because, again, the term immaculate conception comes from a certain Catholic belief. Okay, and that's the reason he gets it wrong. That is not necessarily a Christian belief. Okay, just because somebody states it doesn't make it true. But anyway, I'm going to get to what Doc said. I mean,
it is in the Bible, though.
Can I add something?
The Immaculate Conception is in the Bible. Gabriel comes down. He does what he does, whatever that is, to Mary, whether she's a virgin or not. There is a God-conceived child.
You're actually next, Leo. So let Gary and Knock finish up, and then.
Well, I was just jumping in. I was just stating that I just covered it in my Bible is Stupid series. So.
Well, no, Gary said he wanted to respond to your description.
But I was just talking about it. Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, the Jesus mythic position does state that Jesus Christ, as a historical figure, didn't exist at all. So again, this whole thing is you can believe he's a legend. Like, for example. You could believe that things.
You're just incorrect. You're incorrect about that. You're just incorrect.
No. I am correct. I'm correct. All right, because I'll tell you why. Okay, we do the exact same thing for Alexander the Great. Right, Alexander the Great had a load of. Now he did conquer a large sway of the Mediterranean. Like he conquered Egypt and he conquered all this sort of stuff. He did all that, but I doubt he went. Now, I'm sure you doubt that he went to Egypt and opened the door and fought a load of devils. I doubt that you would believe that. Now, that's part of the legend theory. He did do all the things that he's attributed to doing, the battles and stuff like that. Now, why is it not possible that Jesus could be a good teacher and said some of the stuff in the Bible, but didn't do the miracles as portrayed in the Bible? Like there's maybe a rift is in. I don't have a problem with the atheist saying to me, look, I'm I have no problem with Jesus existing, but I don't believe in the miracle claim. Yeah, I've got no problem with that because again, it's a theological argument. It's when we get to a factual argument of historical existence that I start having problems because again,
can I jump in real quick, Gary? Because I think as far as, I mean, you guys aren't really conversing right now, but you're kind of talking past each other because here's the thing. If you're saying that the historical Jesus, let's grant that premise, historical Jesus was a thing. When you talk about mythicism, we are talking about all the supernatural claims around Jesus.
Wait, Lisa made a claim about historical Jesus. That's what sparked this whole thing. Why are you guys?
Oh my God! Will you get off that sunflower conversation?
I also made this. I don't think that there is a historical Jesus, but that's outside the conversation.
Okay, I'll give you a modern day example, or more modern than Jesus. All right, there is a legend about George Washington cutting down a cherry tree. Now that did not happen. That did not happen, but George Washington was still president of the United States.
Right.
I was the first president in history. Okay, one is a legend theory, which is what I'm saying. What you're promoting is a legend theory that the things that Jesus was purported to have done were part of a legend that built up or folk tales or whatever you want to say. I would disagree with that, but that's fine. You can have that position. What the mythicist position says is the opposite to that. It says that Jesus was concocted as, and again, you could look at every mythicist argument from that I can provide for you that will say this. The only reason they're saying this, they've changed the argument now is because they've been proven wrong. It's basically what creationists do. They get disproven at one point and they move the argument along. They post it out. They say, well, we've been proven wrong on creationism, but let's move it to ID. See how it works, because again, we can never fix and disprove one point, but then we just get to move the goalposts a little bit to we're discussing something else. And no. The claim is Christianity is derived from religion. It's not. It's claimed that Jesus Christ was never existed when he did. It's claimed that Christianity didn't exist until 300 AD when it did. So again, so which one of those claims should we not discuss then?
So let me clarify.
Well, hold on, Lisa. We got a lot of people that have been patiently waiting, and Leo was next, and he had already wanted to jump in here a minute ago. So go ahead, Leo.
So the first thing I wanted to point out is that Nock is not wrong when he defines mythicism, but that isn't the sole definition of mythicism. And I think he did make this distinction that it can be extended to people who say that Jesus never existed. But I did want to state that what we consider Jesus mythicism, at least from a scholarly standpoint, is there is some fluidity there. As for the Immaculate Conception, this is a huge misconception that I often hear. The Immaculate Conception was not the virgin birth of Jesus. And from the Encyclopedia Britannica I'd like to read here, the Immaculate Conception, the Roman Catholic dogma asserting that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was preserved free from the effects of the sin of Adam, usually referred to as original sin. So it is initially a Roman Catholic dogma, and it asserts that Mary, when she was born free of original sin. It makes no statements whatsoever to Jesus himself. So that is what the Immaculate Conception is. As for the historicity of Jesus, one of the there are the two biggest pieces of evidence that there was probably a historical Jesus is the passage of James being the brother of Christ. And Robert Van Voorst states in Jesus Outside the New Testament, an introduction to the ancient evidence on page 83, that scholars consider both the reference to the brother of Jesus called the Christ and the entire passage that includes it as authentic. Richard Bauckham in James the Just and Christian Origins, pages 199 through 203, states, quote, the vast majority have considered it to be authentic, end quote. John P. Mayer in Josephus, The Essential Writings, pages 108 and 109, agrees with Louis Feldman, another antiquity scholar, that few have questioned the authenticity of the James passage. Claudia Setzer in Jewish Responses to Early Christians, pages 108 and 109, also states that few have questioned its authenticity. As for the resurrection, James Dunn states that there was quote-unquote broad consensus among scholars regarding the nature of an authentic reference to the crucifixion of Jesus in the Testimonium Flavianum, which was written by Tacitus, I do believe. And that is in 2003 and remastered. Was it? Oh, I might be wrong on that. Christopher M. Tuckett states that although the exact reasons for the death of Jesus are hard to determine, one of the indisputable facts about him is that he was crucified in the Cambridge Companion to Jesus by Marcus N.A. Buckmule in 2001 on page 136. Bart Ehrman, one of the world's most renowned biblical scholars, New Testament scholars, states that the crucifixion of Jesus on the orders of Pontius Pilate is the most certain element about him. In a brief introduction to the New Testament by Bart D. Ehrman, and at least one more here, Eddie and Boyd state that it is now, quote unquote, firmly established that there is non-Christian confirmation of the crucifixion of Jesus. And they state that in the Jesus legend, the case for the historical reliability of the synoptic Jesus tradition, Baker, academic, page 147. So, I mean, the thing is, people can argue that there is no historical Jesus or there was no evidence for it. That, I'm sorry, that's just wrong. None of the academics, the actual academics in this field would agree with that. They just don't. You would have to dispel of the academics.
So there's no academics out there that don't say that say that
there are academics out there that deny evolutionary theory. John C. Sanford is one of them. The point that I'm getting at is
comparing it to hold on, Leo. Comparing it to evolutionary theory, that is not fair at all.
Well, that was an analogy.
Apples and oranges. No,
it's not. May I expound on?
It is, because evolutionary theory.
On the analogy that I was making, please. So the analogy that I was making is that there are academics that deny that Jesus existed, but that doesn't mean that the broad consensus does. There are academics that deny evolution. There are academics that deny that the Earth is freaking a globe. There are academics.
Okay, but wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. You talked for like 5 minutes straight. Stop.
Well, I'd like to actually finish the point I'm making.
Will you please stop? I mean, look, the thing is you're comparing the idea that Jesus existed to whether the Earth is a globe and whether evolution is. Yes, you are. You're making that analogy.
Should I expound on it again? That's not the analogy I'm making. It's just not. The analogy I made
that analogy. When I said that, I asked you a question.
Analogy.
Leo, we can only talk one at a time. Let me finish my point, and then you can respond, and then Tangelo.
That's simply not.
Can I talk now?
I mean, yeah, but that's literally not the point that I was making. I was not saying that evolution is like Jesus existing. That's not the point. It's just not. The point is that, yes, there are academics out there that deny it, but that doesn't
apparently no, I can't talk. Okay. Look. The thing is, I'm not saying you're comparing the two, okay? But when I say to you, are there any scholars out there that deny Jesus existed? Your response is to bring up people that deny evolution and globe, that the Earth is a globe. So you, in fact, were making an analogy.
That's valid.
Between those two things.
It's valid to invoke.
I wasn't. I was making an analogy that there are scholars that deny Jesus existed. You're right. There are also scholars that deny evolutionary theory.
And what's the point of bringing that up? I mean, you're comparing a scholar who doesn't believe Jesus existed to a scholar who thinks evolution doesn't.
That's still not my analogy. My analogy
is literally the words that came out of your mouth.
Yeah, that's not the analogy that I was making. The analogy that I was making is that just because scholars in a field deny what the broad consensus states doesn't make those scholars justified. The scholars that deny evolutionary theory are not
that, but you made it sound like all of them believe Jesus existed.
Just like the scholars who deny Jesus' existence as a historical figure simply are not justified in it. There are scholars in literally every field that deny the broad consensus. That's why we go by broad consensus and not what individual scholars state.
Yes, comparison.
Well, the idea, though, that there is any comparison to the body of evidence that proves evolution is a thing, and the body of evidence that proves the Earth is a globe, and that there's any comparison to that, and the body of evidence that supposedly proves Jesus existed. There's no comparison.
That wasn't my comparison.
I would agree. How many scholars? Most of the scholars that believe Jesus existed are Christian scholars.
No, wrong.
No. Yeah,
wrong.
there are a lot of
wrong.
Wrong.
No, liar.
Liar. Everybody
I
stop.
hadn't even actually finished
Everybody
everything that I
stop.
wanted to say.
Everybody
Can I make
stop.
my last point?
Everybody stop.
We got to get Otangelo. Otangelo's next. Go ahead, Otangelo.
No,
Okay,
everybody
John,
stop.
John,
Everybody fucking stop. God damn it, I still own this channel. All right. Chill the fuck out. We can't have 6 people talking over each other. I want to say that I am now convinced. Historical Jesus convinced me. I'm a Christian now. Beckett Cook, I don't know, John, if you remember. Beckett Cook, the guy that was the gay man who wasn't acting on being gay and talking about that within the church, did a few videos on him, just commented on one of my videos. I love it when that happens. All right. Otangelo, please go. You guys cannot talk over each other. We cannot be long-winded. Everybody's got to have a chance to talk. This is an open room. Everybody's got to have a chance to talk. And I am now a Christian. Historical Jesus did it.
So I don't get to make my last point?
Well, Leo, you had like way over 5 minutes.
Yeah,
the computer. Put your hand up again and get back in again. Go ahead, Otangelo.
Okay, I think that if we have 10... Okay, I think if we have 10 people in the room, then each one should have the conscience that you cannot talk for 5 or 10 minutes. But secondly, I think, John, you cannot also interrupt because Leophilus was talking and you interrupted him. You interrupted
I interrupted
me.
him to ask him a question. Hold on. Well, I know, but all I want to say, Otangelo, is me and Knock don't have to raise our hands. So go ahead, Otangelo.
So I disagree that you guys are moderators, but you are interrupting people which want to make their points. And you actually, rather than listening to what Leophilus was talking, you interrupted him and you didn't get what he was saying. Usually I disagree with Leophilus, but the point that he made was very pertinent. So I am on the side of Leophilus.
No, it wasn't.
Sunflower said it perfectly in the side chat. It was intended to demonstrate that fringe minority positions in any accredited academic field do not necessarily threaten the consensus. It wasn't about the evidence for evolution.
I didn't say anything about threatening consensus. I asked you a simple question. I asked you a simple question.
Yeah, you interrupted him, John, and I don't think that is
Ask
right.
a question. Hey, Otangelo, it isn't any of your business if I or not interrupt, okay? Make your
bye.
point and go to the next person, all right? Tioga, you're next.
I can admit that I'm wrong, maybe, and that it is a consensus across the board that
it is. I mean,
Jesus
that's
exists.
it's a consensus.
Okay. But I would like to talk about not just the consensus itself, but the documents that they use to prove Jesus. We could talk more about the letter to James. I think that would be, or from James. I think that'd be super interesting. But what I do think you cannot deny that at least the imagery and rituals that Jesus is portrayed in the Bible are influenced by their surrounding cultures. I mean, because he goes from a blonde, curly-haired shepherd to a masculine man, and then we have the separation of the feminine and masculine deities with the introduction of Mary. But yeah, that's all I want to say is that it's obviously influenced, but I can concede that that is the historical or scholarly consensus that he was a son.
And then, Slade, you've been waiting a long time, man. You're finally up.
Yes. All right. Regarding consensus, used to be the consensus that Moses existed. We're right at the beginning of people becoming serious about questioning Jesus. So I think the next 10, 15 years or so might come up with some interesting stuff. Obviously, the depiction of Jesus in the New Testament is false. I mean, most of the stories contradict each other. Most of them are impossible. Like even something you could previously think of as simple, like turning the tables over in the temple. There's no way in such a large space with soldiers constantly going around that you'd get away with doing that. You'd be lucky to turn over one or two tables before being arrested. You know, all the stories are full of things like that. So we know that the literal concept of a Jesus doesn't exist. Whether or not there was one or many guys behind the actual figure that appears there, we don't yet know. If the only evidence is that a guy named Jesus was crucified, I'd be surprised with the common name and how many crucifixions there was in that time, that there weren't many guys named Jesus crucified. The problem would be connecting them to the biblical one. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting subject, and obviously it doesn't, like, we know that the magical Son of God character did not exist. There's no way that that's the case, so it doesn't affect.
Well, and that's the distinction that I'm glad that Knock made that distinction, because I'm willing to admit that Gary's definition of what mythicism is might be the general idea of what people think mythicism is, but I ascribe to how Knock described it a little bit ago. Is like I think of it as the myths surrounding Jesus. I don't believe any of it.
I'm still maintaining that Gary and everybody here, everybody arguing this stupid position is wrong. Academia is not science. Historical academia is not science. What scientific evidence do you have that this Jesus figure existed?
History.
You have exactly no. History doesn't work that way. No, let me finish. History doesn't work that way, but you're treating it like it's science, Leo, and that's not fair. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
No, you're not.
Yes,
Well,
you are.
can you talk about like the letter from James and how that might provide more historical context for what you're saying?
I don't know what the letter of James is.
The only
When you
question
just said that he calls Jesus Christ.
Hold on, Slade. Were you done there, Slade? Did you have more?
I did have another.
If you have more to say, go ahead. You waited a long time. If you have more to say, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's gone. Sorry, just fell out of my brain. Never mind.
Lisa, you were up. If you remember, Slade, give me a shout.
Okay, 3 things I've got. First of all, I think it was Leo that said something about the Testimonium Flavianum. That is a known forgery. So is
Scholars don't say that.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. I cited like 3 of them, and I can cite more, many more.
Leo, you can go to the goddamn Testimonium Flavianum, take out that goddamn paragraph, and it makes sense. It is a forgery. Eusebius.
No, the scholars don't say that.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. I read you like 3 of them, and I can read you many more.
Well, you know what? I found a lot more scholars that say it's a goddamn forgery.
A lot more or one?
No, we're talking about a lot more.
Okay, let's hear them.
And Godless Engineer says the same thing.
I'm counting on both my hands, 10 fingers. Let's count them.
Everybody cites Godless Engineer like he's a scholar. He's not, and his position runs counter to the vast majority of scholars that are actually in the field.
I'm not saying Godless Engineer is a scholar. And Sunflower, I don't have those citations at my beck and call.
How many are there, roughly? Ballpark.
Roughly about 6
wait a
or
minute.
7.
No, wait a minute. Did we just dismiss Godless Engineer because he's not a scholar? Leo, you're not a scholar. I'm not a scholar. Nobody
Yeah, but I'm
here is a
citing
fucking
scholars. I'm making a case based on the scholarship. He does it.
Yeah. I'm going to be quiet again. This is getting really douchebaggery.
I mean, I literally listed probably 6 or 7 scholars last time I was up. So I am making a case based on their scholarship. He doesn't.
Yeah.
And I respect Godless Engineer. I love him to death. But when it comes to the
and
subject, he doesn't make a case based on the scholarship because
and
he knows and has admitted the scholarship doesn't take his position.
Leo, let me talk.
Lisa, are you okay in life personally?
Well, no, it's.
I sense pain and turmoil.
Oh my God, Sunflower, drop it.
When a person constantly interrupts you, it can get pretty fucking annoying.
I just sense pain and turmoil.
Sunflower, I'd be a little more gracious.
That's a gracious remark. I'm from the bottom of my heart. I'm worried.
Why? You're worried? You're worried because she got a little triggered over being interrupted. I mean, how is that? How does what you said have anything to do with that?
I'm a very empathetic person. I sense
this is fucking great. Like,
so why are you?
You know what? Sunflower is loving this shit. And that's awesome. I don't know if Sunflower was sucking my dick right now, I'd be a little wary of my argumentation. That's my opinion.
Anyway, Lisa, go ahead and finish up. Let Lisa finish.
I usually agree with Leo. but Leo is totally wrong on this.
The scholars don't say I am.
Leo, quit interrupting.
God damn, you let her talk.
Very
like
solid
5
case.
minutes.
I made a
Jesus
very
Christ.
solid case, and I'm not hearing any actual refutation to it.
Leo,
I'm just hearing-
Leo, you're gonna let other people talk, dude. It's getting out of hand now.
Lisa, go ahead.
Yeah, and you know why? Because I don't have that fucking information on hand.
Then why are you arguing the point?
Because you
Leo, if I mute you, don't unmute yourself. Let Lisa finish. Don't interrupt till she's done. After her, Gary's up, and then you're after Gary, Leo. God damn. Go ahead, Lisa.
I am telling you, I don't have those fucking things right at my fingertips because I do a lot of goddamn fucking research for my channel. And that was a long fucking time ago that I did the Testimonium Flavianum and the Testimonium Tacitum. I'm telling you, they are forgeries. And if you don't believe me, go to the goddamn literature and figure it out for yourself. Now, as for Jesus, I am not saying that some dude named Yeshua was not a preacher in the 1st century CE, because there were a lot of goddamn dudes named Yeshua back then, and a lot of them probably were preachers, and a lot of them probably were crucified. What I'm saying is this supernatural shit never happened.
All right, Gary, you're up. Leo, you're after Gary. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay. I just want to say one thing. Just because there's a consensus on something doesn't make it right. Just to make that point, because what Liam may not know is that 50 years ago, more than 100 years ago, nearly, the consensus was the other way, that Jesus didn't exist as an actual human being. That it took one guy, Albert Schweitzer, to change people's minds. So I did it with evidence. And again, the thing is, we have to look at the evidence objectively. That if we do not have the problems with Christianity that people have, would the evidence for Jesus Christ be acceptable for a human being like that existing? The answer is yes, it would. From that period, that series. Now, I disagree with Lisa that the antiquities and the is it analogies? Analogies, I think it is, by Tacitus, are both not forgeries. And again, there's actually been new studies of the Testimonium Flavianum to say that it actually says stuff about Jesus that's outside of the New Testament. That's actually the most recent scholarship we have on it. Now to T. Yoga, sorry, I hope I'm not pronouncing your name incorrectly. Sorry, I hate getting names wrong. This idea that borrowed religions is nonsense. It's been disproven many times. One of the people who did it recently has no love for Christianity whatsoever. None. Zero, zilch, nada. His name is Judson Z. Smith. Now, what he is, he's a comparative religion guy. And what he did is that he gets fed up with this because he sees that people use this as a way to try and disprove Christianity rather than discuss what the truth is. The truth is that Christianity comes from Judaism and maybe some Neoplatonist ideas of God. It does not come from other religions. That's the main one. Now, there could be concepts, because they do come up from, but again, usually it's syncretism, where similar... It's like in evolution. Sometimes similar environments bring about similar animals.
I just want to point out, I didn't say the religion itself came from other religions, but that it was its ritual and imagery was influenced by other cultures and religions.
No, I'd agree with that.
Okay, cool.
There was a lot of co-ops in that. I agree with that. But the thing is that again, I don't have a problem with people saying I don't believe in the miracle claims. I have no problem with that, because again, that's a theological position. When we talk about history, we need differences here,
Right,
and
so-
I think that's the point.
Real
Sorry.
quick, I'm going to jump in before the next person, John. I'm looking on. I googled it. Christ myth theory, the definition: the Christ myth theory, also known as the Jesus myth theory, Jesus mythicism, or the Jesus historicity theory, is the view that the story of Jesus is largely fictitious and has little basis in historical fact. The story of Jesus, the story that's in the Gospels, the magical Jesus, it's not about whether some rabbi was going around Israel scratching his ass. It was about, was there a son of God 2,000 years ago? That is mythicism. And
Lisa
if
made it
you
about
prop
that.
up this historical Jesus
Let the record
argument,
show.
you are giving Christian propaganda. That is my opinion.
Well, the record shows that Lisa said that he wasn't a historical figure. That's what I responded to. It's morphed into a conversation about his supernatural divinity.
That's what happened to conversations. Actually, Leo, you're next. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So the
And
first
real
thing
quick, Sunflower, real quick, Sunflower, too. You know, it's funny how you try and rewrite history. You didn't literally say, "Are you okay?" You said, "Lisa, are you okay in life?" Which means a completely fucking different thing. Okay, so you can put in the fucking private chat that you just said, "Are you okay?" Like you were being fucking empathetic with her and trying to see if she was okay, but that's not what you said, you fucking douchebag. You said, "Are you okay in life?" In other words, you were saying she's doing life shitty. Shut the fuck
No,
up.
like,
Go ahead.
how would I ever know that?
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know anything about her life. I sensed a lot of.
I think we all
Well,
need to
that-
simmer down.
you're-
I think we're all hot. We all need to simmer down. Who's up next, John? And we'll continue on.
Leo. Leo, and then after.
I said 9 o'clock. We will go 1 more hour. 1 hour is a hard stop, though. All right.
Yeah, we can go to 9:30. But go ahead, Leo, and after Leo, Slade will be up.
So I just wanted to say that while early scholars considered the Testimonium to be a total forgery, the majority of modern scholars consider it partially authentic despite some clear Christian interpolations in the text. And this is according to Alice Wheely in 2003 and Josephus on Jesus, the Testimonium Flavianum controversy from the late antiquity to modern times, and from John P. Mayer, which he said in 1990. Also, we have scholars such as Streckenberg, Heinz, and Kurt Schubert in 1992, Jewish Traditions in Early Christian Literature, as well as Andreas Kostenberger, Scott Kellum, and Charles Quarles in 2009, and The Cradle, the Cross, and the Crown, an introduction to the New Testament, stating that, quote, the general scholarly view holds that the longer passage, known as the Testimonium Flavianum, most likely consists of an authentic nucleus that was subjected to later Christian interpolation or forgery. So while the whole of the Testimonium Flavianum, or this particular passage, is not likely authentic, there is an authentic nucleus to it. So I did want to mention that really quickly. As to consensus, I never once argued that a consensus is what makes something right. That wasn't my argument, and I don't think that anybody would ever make an argument that way. That would be an argument from authority. What my argument was, and I think that everybody can agree with this, is that if you are making a case and then you show that the academics within the field relevant to the subject that you're talking about broadly agree on what you're saying, that does bolster your case. Consensus I can change, but they oftentimes don't. And as we have advanced into the future and our ability to analyze things, our scientific technologies and our scientific methodologies have greatly improved, consensuses have changed significantly less than they used to in the past. My argument isn't because there's a consensus that makes it right. My argument is that obviously the consensus, or the consensus of professionals in this field, have analyzed the data that I am citing and have broadly agreed that this does seem to indicate the likelihood that there was a historical Jesus. I have to be honest, I haven't really heard anybody cite a lot of things or cite anything from academia that refutes the point that I'm making here. And nor am I arguing that my point is bulletproof, simply that it is seemingly the most likely case that one should take on this. I only seem to be hearing arguments from people's feelings. I don't give a fuck about feelings, bros. I give a fuck about data. I give a fuck about what academics say. I give a fuck about
get your point.
How about you give a fuck about letting other people talk? All right, so real quick, once again, you are conflating this with science.
No, I'm not.
Consistency in history changes all the fucking time. All the fucking time. We find new shit about history all the fucking time, Leo. What are you talking about?
That's fine. I'm not conflating this with
fuck are you talking about?
There has never been a consensus that Jesus didn't exist amongst the academics.
The academics are just as savvy to the new evidence as we are. In fact, they're more savvy.
Yeah, of course.
You think that there's no academics that are itching?
Sunflower, if you want to talk, put your fucking hand up in the private chat.
Wasn't there
Leo, if you have a final point before we move on to Slade.
Yes, I do. I'm not comparing this to science at all because history doesn't work like science does because it can't. It's just literally not how history works.
Slade,
I'm
go ahead.
based off of the evidence that the academics are looking at and the consensus.
All right, we get it, Leo. Go ahead, Slade.
All right. If there was a actual nucleus to the testimonium Flavianus, it wasn't quoted until about Eusebius's time, so far as I understand. So you got to wonder why it was never brought up in any of the arguments prior to that, which is why a lot of the scholars actually think it was completely fake. But yet again, I don't know. It's going to be a hard thing to find out. What I said earlier about Christianity coming from other religions, Judaism is a different religion. In fact, it's actually incompatible with Christianity. And Judaism itself came from Zoroastrianism and a few other things that, we've gone back to see that where the origins of all of the other stories that were in the Old Testament came from different places. All of it is from the cultures around the people that started it. And then you've got other influences that created Christianity as well. It's all a completely made up religion. There's no doubt about that. That's awesome.
So I have a question for, I think, just Sunflower and Gary are the only two Christians in the room. Am I correct on that? Except Knock got converted there about a half hour ago, he told us. But so my question is, we're talking about the historicity of Jesus. Like, people are talking about evidence, all right? Like, one thing that I really have a tough time, accepting, if there was a Jesus, why is there no contemporaneous writings about him when he was alive? Why does he have no writings? Why they say that 500 people witnessed the resurrection? There's no contemporaneous writings by any of those people, writing down that they saw a man rise from the dead. I mean, how is it that you say there's all this evidence that Jesus existed, but none of it is contemporaneous to when he was alive?
You ever heard the phrase "victors write the history"?
That's non sequitur.
Take that one to the bank. Yeah.
No, that's not nowhere near an answer to my question.
Oh, because the Jews that literally rejected the idea that he was the Messiah weren't writing the history at the time, and then
okay, and well, Sunflower, and so that means the Jews had this magical power where they had control over every other human being's hands.
No, that's why we saw
fucking writing him.
That's why we saw text start popping up immediately after. Just not, you're using the word contemporaneous. Yeah, maybe not the instant it happened. We didn't have it etched in stone. Sorry, but like in the years following, there's several different accounts of it. That's the standard of evidence you're asking for is fucking. It's lunacy. It's like you have to discount so many other historical figures laterally.
It's not lunacy. It's not lunacy. Those other historical figures aren't fucking gods, and people aren't trying to attack abortion because of them. This is a completely different fucking conversation. But John, I know plenty of people are trying to get in. I heard Immutable trying to get in. Immutable's been trying to get in. So we got to start letting all of these people get in. Or we're gonna I'm gonna end up letting John go full nuclear on these open rooms. I've been trying to keep it loose, and I've been arguing with John. I'm gonna let it go nuclear because this shit has been insane.
Well, and so the only person I have right on the list right now is Leo. I mean, if people want to get in, they need to put their hand up in the private chat.
Well, I would like to hear Immutable, because on Immutable, I've heard you try to pipe in a couple times, and he might not know that we're doing the hand thing. So then
Immutable is trying to go before me. I just had a small point to make anyway.
So go ahead, Immutable, and then Leo can go. Yeah.
I find it laughable that Sunflower thinks it's a contentious point to say that there would be no contemporaneous writings within a few years of Jesus existing, or at the time that Jesus was alleged to exist. Yet it would be perfectly natural for a generational time after, so about 30 years after, for people to be, writing about it. And all of a sudden now it's A-okay for people to do this, and now the persecution has ended in such a short period of time.
Wait, what do you mean we do have?
Well, and let me ask you this, Immutable. So there are historical figures whose existence may be somewhat tenuous besides Christ. But I think in most of those cases, there was contemporaneous writings. Like some people say that maybe Plato didn't really exist, or something like that. But here we have an instance, 0 contemporaneous writings. But go ahead, Immutable.
No, I mean, I would think if I saw somebody rose from the dead or, something like that, I'd be writing about it. I'd imagine everybody in the damn city would be writing
Have you ever
about
heard of the Library of Alexandria, Immutable Destiny?
Yeah.
What did they do to it?
They burned it.
Okay, so
you're telling me that okay, that makes the claim even worse. So you're telling me now that everybody who supposedly saw Jesus rise from the dead was massacred?
No, I'll tell you that despite the fact that Judaism was the predominant faith, there was such an overwhelming account of Jesus that not only is there account of it in the years following, but the entire world shifted. Like we're not saying like, oh yeah, something happened and like no one really knows about it, but trust us. Like, do you realize how many people are Christian? Like,
yeah, quite a lot. And I just find it amazing that there are no contemporaneous sources that.
You find it amazing? So is your standard of evidence when you think about if a historical figure existed or not, do you think, well, until I see contemporaneous accounts, then I just think they're bullshit? Like, is that your...
No, I would imagine if we're talking about whether or not some historical figure, which is assigned some properties, are who they would say to be, one of the things I begin looking for are contemporaneous writings.
Who else did you look for?
Describe the character in a similar way to
one other
the original narrative describes the character.
You've never done this for any other historical figure, I can tell.
Well, we can name. Wait a second. We can name one situation where there was contemporaneous writings. Let's just say the burning of Rome, right? Their whole fucking city was burning down. Their emperor was dicking off, doing nothing that he was supposed to be fucking doing. Mythically, he was fiddling, right? But people wrote about the shit because their whole fucking city was burning down. Now,
associated with that, there
was people that wrote about it at that time, just normal people like shopkeepers.
Schism in the dogmatic faith of the land.
Hold on, guys.
The point is that you're a crackhead. You're a Pokemon crackhead.
Hey, dog, if you don't sit the fuck down.
You guys,
we know we got Leo, Gary, Lisa, and Slade up. We got 4 people on deck.
Right.
Puff, you just got here, so you get that. Yeah, but if you want to get back in here, put your hand up in the side in the private chat there, Puff. Same thing with you, Sunflower. But go ahead, Leo, and after Leo, it's Gary.
I'm just responding.
I just wanted to mention about the contemporaneous writings. I do think that there is a case to be made that if there aren't contemporaneous writings for people, that does reduce their historicity, but I wouldn't say that it eliminates it. Not that anybody was necessarily making that argument, because I don't think anybody was. But there are figures that are, at least by not necessarily a majority of historians, but by a very large portion of them, are considered to exist, even though there are no contemporaneous writings of them. People like Homer, who wrote the Odyssey and the Iliad, I believe. Pythagoras is another one. There's no contemporaneous writings of Pythagoras.
Wait a minute, so he wrote something and that's not a contemporaneous writing?
Well, because we don't know if it was actually written by him. That's the thing. We don't have any other contemporaneous writings to measure that against. As I was saying, Pythagoras is another person we don't have any contemporaneous writings for. And King Arthur is another, despite the fact that there are people that he could have been. Arthur Acidon, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, who was the son of a 6th century king in Scotland, I believe it was, Ambrosius Aurelianus, who led the Romano-British rebellion against Anglo-Saxons, I believe. Lucius Artorius Canius was another person that they thought that he could be Cassius, something like that. So. Yeah. Just because there's no contemporaneous writings does not mean that the person didn't exist or that there can't be a case made for their existence. But again, I do want to specify that I'm not necessarily saying anybody was making that statement.
No, so my particular statement is that if I'm trying to make a judgment upon how likely it is that somebody exists and fulfills the criteria of what's being said of them, right?
That's so 2 claims.
Let Immutable speak, please.
That was what I was saying the whole fucking time. is that
no, I don't care what you're saying all the time. It's a stupid point. I could say right now, George Bush.
Sunflower, shut up.
I
can grant you for
Sunflower. Let Immutable finish.
I believe the big argument that anybody with a name that you care to name probably exists. The moment you begin assigning specific qualities to that person, in terms of what they may or may not have done, requires something more than just speculation. It requires documents which seem to support or which would seem to corroborate theories about what this person has done or has claimed to have.
Shifting Olympics, Immutable. You're now you're now a contender in the goalpost shifting Olympics. I congratulate you.
I don't think that you're understanding Immutable's broader argument.
Hey, Puff, you don't have to put your hand up 1,000 times in the private chat. I got your name written down, but unfortunately, there's a few people ahead of you.
Yeah,
Look, here's the thing,
John. I gotta read tips when you can get to me too.
Okay, hey, we're going to go to, before we go to Gary, we are going to go to Knock. And something I have to say, Sunflower, you and Gary are the only two Christians here, so we have to give the two of you a little leeway to respond, in kind. I mean, because you're 2 people out of 10, on one side of an argument. Well, I guess Leo's kind of on your side, but look, it's okay if you jump in on a point, Sunflower, but make it a brief point. You know what I mean? And you're Gary, the only 2 Christians in the room, so we definitely give you some leeway. But go ahead, Knock, take it away.
Fair enough. Sorry.
Yeah, just real quick, Puffaluffagus, thank you so much, bro. $10. Here's a beer for John and a J for Knock. $3. Can someone toss the link in chat? We did, and now he's here. And $10 from James Hogue. Thank you very much, James. Dumpster fires are fun, but I think John Peterson's avatar should be a Kraken. Get him, John. So thank you, James Hogue. All right, go ahead, John. Whoever's next. If you want to have a dumpster fire with atheists, just throw out, does Jesus exist? That's all you do. So go ahead, John.
How do I? Oh, here it is. Never mind. I'm high. So yeah, that's my avatar now. That's what I had today. The dunce cap. Thank you to Geo Sam for making that for me. I had it with just the head showing, and he got the full thing off the internet for me. But anyway, Gary is next. Lisa's after him, and then Slade and Puff.
All right. Can I just apologize to Puff for Sunflower's behaviour that's not representative of all of us believers? Just saying, I don't think he should have insulted you. We could at least try and be adults.
Yeah, quick as quiet. I understand that fully, and I take each person. I do not try to judge anyone else based on the actions of another person or words of another person that aren't theirs.
Okay, I just wanted to get that on the record. But I would say, right, the thing is that I'm a Christian, right? But again, I accept the existence of Muhammad. The existence of Buddha as human beings who lived a particular life. Now, do I believe the miracle claims? Again, I'm agnostic on it because again, I don't want to be ones who say that definitely doesn't happen because again, who am I to judge someone else's life? If they're not hating me and no one else, who am I to judge? You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm playing special pleading to Jesus. But the thing is, people who say it doesn't exist are putting special pleading to Jesus. Because if it was applied to somebody else, let's say there are tons of figures who the existence of the historical documents would be seen as enough. There's a special pleading given, and that's my problem, is that it would be enough for somebody else under the same conditions. So if under the same conditions we can say person X exists, why is person Y Jesus different? And the argument is because we don't like Christianity, which is rubbish, right? Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's bad or the person doesn't exist, right? There's stuff I don't like doesn't mean that the person exists. Like, for example, I don't like Scientology doesn't mean L. Ron Hubbard doesn't exist. I don't like a lot of things, The thing is, we have to understand that, again, there was 3 popes before, so what year do you think Christianity started? That's a general question going out to the people who are against this. What year did Christianity start? Give me a year.
I think it was 400 AD or 600 AD.
No. So when Christianity started, would have been, I don't like. Are you talking an Orthodox church? Are you talking the early Christian Jews that were going house to house talking about Jesus?
No, I'm talking about when they actually had the first. I'm talking about when the first Pope is. I'm talking about that. When did Christianity as a religion begin? Give me a year.
Around 300 AD.
I don't know. It was
300
before
AD.
300 AD. I'd say.
I said around. I said around.
Around 180, 200 AD. I think. I can't remember. When was the first Church of Rome? I can't remember the date.
Even before that, you could say.
Well, if you're talking structured church, but yeah, I mean, like, I would say like the first, nomadic preachings of Jesus was probably 20 to 30 years after he supposedly died. I would give you that. So
Okay.
like history clearly says that. Again, I want to go back to the point. Like I've made it all along. I haven't talked much. Mythicism isn't a discussion about whether or not Jesus exists. It isn't. It's about whether or not Jesus was God. That's all. So, Sunflower jumped on that and has turned this into a discussion about whether or not Jesus exists because he claims Lisa made a statement. Maybe she did. Who knows? People make statements. But the discussion is mythicism, right? Is the discussion about was Jesus as God? No, but nobody else. No other. None of these other historical figures that you're talking about that we need. You're not asking for proof like you would Jesus when you're talking about Alexander the Great. No, the claim isn't that Alexander the Great is a god and 2.5-3 billion people follow that god and do what that god tells them to do. That's the discussion here. Mythicism. Mythicism was Jesus a god? If you don't believe the magic in the fucking Bible, if you don't believe the magic in the fucking Bible, if you don't believe that existed, then you're a mythicist. And more scholars are coming to that mythicist position. And scholarship will continue to change as we move forward.
I would honestly say that.
I'd have to say, hold on, Leo. I'd have to say that I would balk at the idea that the other historical figure you named, the one that Leo pointed out earlier, there wouldn't be half of humanity without.
Yeah, Genghis Khan. Yeah.
Genghis Khan, Khan.
He got around, man.
He fucked a lot of bitches, man. He was a god as far as I'm
He said he fucked a lot of bitches, John.
I did want to add on to Ray's point. I think he makes a good point. I honestly think that probably the majority of New Testament scholars would say that Jesus wasn't a wizard. If somebody wants to make the case that Jesus was literally God in human form or anything like that, they have their work cut out for them. They have a lot ahead of them because they have to literally appeal to the.
And that's fine, Leo. But if you're going to jump in and jump the line, it's for a couple of sentences.
That was it.
And Lisa, you're next.
Okay. Like I said, I'm willing to grant the premise that Yeshua existed and that he was even a prophet because a lot of Yeshuas existed in that day and a lot of them were prophets.
I still don't think one did, but that's my opinion reading history. That's it. That's all.
Well, I'm not saying Jesus, the way he's portrayed in the Bible, existed. That's something totally different.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just putting it out there that I have not been convinced that me thinking that there was no historical Jesus at all. Like I've heard all of these arguments before. I've heard the academia. To me, people have thought that Jesus has been a god and Jesus existed for 2,000 years, and history has taught it that way. Christian history has taught it that way. The writers of wars write history. Christians won that war a long time ago. So of course history is going to show Jesus because people believe that shit for 2,000 years. My claim is they believe in nonsense. That's my claim.
So anyway, but getting to the magical part of it, and I know Christians hate to say magic, but I don't fucking care because that's exactly what it is.
Literally.
I call this the zombie apocalypse. If there were people literally rising from the dead in Jerusalem, and I call that the zombie apocalypse, there would have been fucking everybody writing about that shit, and we don't hear anything about it.
Not to mention that you
All
have to
right,
argue necromancy is
Slade,
real.
you're up. Slade, you're up. After Slade's Puff.
Real quick, Leo was trying to pipe in one sentence there.
I just wanted to say, if anybody's going to argue, because when Jesus came back from the dead, supposedly some other people did too, and there was like a bunch of dead people walking around. You'd have to argue that literally necromancy is a real thing, and necromancy is literally magic. You can't get around having to invoke magic to argue Jesus resurrected from the dead, and then you're arguing magic is real. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I thought it was one sentence, but yeah, good point, Leo. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Good point, though.
It was one really long sentence, but yeah. Go ahead, Slade. I think you're muted, Slade.
Yeah, I think you might be muted. Or you're not
on your
muted.
end.
Yeah, maybe on your end.
Well, he's not muted in StreamYard. You must have muted your computer, or
No, his mic's off. His mic's off on there.
yeah, your mic must be off, Slade. You're not
Does
showing.
it have a switch or something?
Yeah, we still can't hear you. All right, so yeah, somehow your microphone got disconnected, Slade. So we'll move you to the next person, and we'll let you figure that out.
Yeah. Try and leave and come back. That might fix it, Slade. Puff, go ahead.
So I think it was very interesting that Leo brought up Pythagoras, because Leo, what happened around Pythagoras in the early time of his account, his retellings is being recounted?
What?
What happened? What happened around Pythagoras during the early times of his life stories and accounts and things being recounted?
I have no idea.
Oh, well, I would be remiss if I did not tell you. Thank you, Drag. I love that word. If I did not tell you that, lo and behold, there was a religion that came up around him, and that he was viewed as a demigod, just as if Hercules or that Jesus was, that he was of godly seed but earthly so, right?
Did exist.
Was that?
Point.
Yeah, but that same thing happened to Alexander the Great and numerous historical figures.
But
doesn't mean they
now,
didn't exist.
But now we don't even that religion went away. Now we still to this day cannot confirm that a real Pythagoras existed.
Wrong. Pokemon crackhead alert. Crack smoker alert. Put down the pipe.
Sunflower, when you put
No
down the
problem. I would be okay.
Put down the crack pipe.
Wait a second. I came prepared. So let's go ahead and go to the Stanford Encyclopedia of
Why you
Philosophy.
gotta be a crack pipe, dog?
Crackhead alert.
So wait a second. We'll go to the SCP. Suck a fucking dick, dude. Take your dad's dick out of your ass. Let his boyfriend
Where's
get
my
back
shit
on
at?
it.
There it is.
Please.
Yeah, we'll bring you back. We'll bring you back, Sunflower, when Puff's done.
Anyway, so here we go. From the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, we have what is said as Pythagoras, one of the most controversial ancient Greek philosophers. Why is he controversial? Because he never wrote nothing, nor were there any detailed accounts of his thoughts written by contemporaries, right?
Yeah, that was,
then over the time, we have had even more time, even trying to pin down whether he exists. It's not like in the case of Alexander, where we have
everything you're saying.
Military. No. What I'm saying,
the point I was trying to make.
No, what I'm saying is it goes more to the point that we don't even know if he really even existed.
Yeah, that was the point.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying is that where this thing that recently there has been a change because of the literal push with money that religion has gone through, they have pushed back. But at the same time, we have testimonial. We have scholars that currently question whether things are accurate, right? So like Lisa said, right? There is still, like you said, there's. I remember you saying there's a nucleus, right, inside of there, right? But every fucking lie, there's a kernel of truth in every lie, right? Any good lie There's a kernel of truth in any good lie. So if your lie is wholly fictitious, it's not going to pass. But I think that what it was is that I don't even think that I'm on Knox's point of view, which is I don't think that nobody existed, right? Of that persuasion, right? That no actual person exists, right? Like the closest you're going to get is Life of Brian out of me. That's about it.
So I just want to ask Sunflower real quick. When you say Pokemon crackhead alert, is that like argumentum at douchebagum? Is that like
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. By the way, Sunflower, you're not really helping your case. Just saying.
That's fine. I don't.
Hey, welcome, Marty. We're doing the hand thing in the chat, but you just got here and nobody has their hand up, so please feel free.
Can I respond? Okay, sorry. I was going to respond to Puff, but.
Hi.
Oh, no, I mean you already responded. You said Pokemon crackhead alert, which was
No, I mean to what he just said.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's all right. We heard enough from you, but you put your hand up in the chat. We'll let you get in there again. Go ahead, Marty.
Okay.
Go ahead, Marty.
So, hi. Yeah. So, so I, if we're talking about the historicity of Jesus's, are we talking about whether there is an actual Jesus that physically existed, or are we talking about an actual Jesus that physically existed that rose from the dead, healed the sick,
could do
cured the
magic.
blind, turn water into wine, all that sort of thing.
Magic stuff.
Yeah. No, that's, I can actually, as a pagan, I can actually swing with that there was, that it's possible that a historical person called Jesus existed. Did he do all of that stuff? I'm going to go with no. Yeah, I'm going to go with no. There's, I mean, that's just not, it's just not possible. It's just not. What I think is, the reason why all the supernatural stuff was attributed to this character called Jesus is you gotta get people on board somehow. If you make them be able to, rise from the dead and cure the blind and walk on water and feed 5,000 people with one piece of fish, that's going to make it a lot more appealing and bring a lot more people to the religion. If you just, as Eddie Izzard would say, make them as relaxed and groovy as Eddie Izzard would say, okay, anybody could be relaxed and groovy, but that's not a person to start a religion over. So, I mean, that's where I swing.
How did we lose Puff like that? There we go. All right. So nobody's got our Gary was next. Go ahead, Gary.
I want to apologise to Puff again for what Sunflower did. So I just get that because no offense, that was douchebaggery of the highest order. We could disagree civilly, Sunflower. Pack it in. But I will say this, right? This whole idea that people had to co-opt ideas onto Jesus is nonsense. But again, these ideas were there from inception, because again, they are beliefs that were built Second Temple Judaism, which is where Jesus comes from. It does not come from anywhere else, because the idea was that the bad guys were in charge, and when the bad guys are in charge, you're gonna go to the worst thing that happened. Like in America, and again, I don't want to speak for Americans, but you can correct me. Isn't Vietnam seen as a war disaster in your culture?
The war in Vietnam?
Yeah, the war in Vietnam, yeah.
What
Yeah,
ask
it
that
depends
question
on
one
who
more
you
time?
ask.
It depends on who you ask. Yeah, I would say
Depends on
yes.
who you ask.
I would say yes.
I would say yes, but it depends on who you ask.
Okay.
And if you're done, Gary, son.
No.
I don't think he was.
Go ahead, Gary.
No, I was just going to say, right, so the thing is that that's what was going on then, that the Pharisees and the Sadducees were literally going against God. So, again, this whole thing of why there's no contemporary count, well, here's two things that happened. The fall of the Second Temple happened. Now, that would be like when 9/11 happened. Literally, it'd be like the same sort of thing. Like, literally, the temple was basically their two towers. It would be like if, like, is it the Capitol building in Washington was hit? It'd be like that level of bad. And then what happened just after that? The whole Jewish nation was separated across the globe. So that's the reason that it didn't happen. Now, again, the thing is that small amount of time, the Christians managed to spread out from Jerusalem to all parts where Jews are, like Ethiopia, Carthage, Alexandria, Syria, a lot of other places around the world. Now, the thing is, by the time you all say that Christianity started, there was 4 popes. Actually, no, there were 6 popes in Rome, and there was 7 popes in Coptic popes. So this whole idea of it coming later is nonsense. It happened at the time because again, that the whole idea is a Jewish idea. Body goes into the ground, body comes out of the ground. That's resurrection. And the ideas are tied to the idea of Passover happening again. Like, because these are eating the meal, healing the sick and the dying and all that sort of stuff. Now, again, if you don't believe that stuff, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when we start getting into historical figures and they're doing cross-saying, well, that person there, well, as I said before, Alexander the Great literally was said to have fought demons and opened the gate to the underworld.
Yeah,
so we not to, and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of other ones, like as I said before, George Washington and the oak tree. Again, the thing is that people can co-opt different ideas, especially if at the time they're writing, the bad guys are in charge and they're scared. And literally, within 10 years of them writing the New Testament, the Jews are separated and scourged to the 4 corners of the earth. Anyway, I'm finished. By the way, Paul, I do apologize for what Sunflower said. That was Henry.
And well, Sunflower, you're next, but what I would like you to start with is why don't you share your mea culpa with our listening audience instead of just putting it in the private chat?
Sure. Okay. Quote, crackhead, end quote, is a rude remark. Yes, I admit that. However, Puff came in saying, quote, I want a piece of sunflower, end quote. So yes, I dropped the gloves since he seemed to come in with a mission to, quote, get a piece of me. That's fine. I mean, look.
Well, but here's the thing, though. When he comes in saying he wants a piece of you, what do you think he means by that? Since we're in here having like a conversation and a debate back and forth, like, what do you think that means? That he literally wanted a piece of you? That he literally wanted to like hit you?
I want a piece of that ass.
Right, John. You're right. Of course, I was rude. I'm an entertainer. Like you think that I'm not here to entertain? Of course I am. I'm sorry. Crackhead is a drop in the bucket. Anyone can weather that blow to their ego and their reputation. If that is the line in the sand we're drawing. Yes, of course, it was a dick prick move. Of course it was. What are we doing here on a live stream if we're not here to sort of make pithy remarks to each other? At least look.
Well, I like Gary's response because basically, like I said, you're one of the only 2 Christians in the room against up to 7 or 8 atheists, and I would think you'd want to portray your side a little better than that.
Well, that's fine. Calling someone a crackhead is a pretty vanilla insult. Come on. I mean, like,
no, but it is insulting
compared to smoking.
Yeah, of course. Gary, you're the good Christian. Good cop, bad cop.
Since he's speaking to me, can I respond real quick? So here's the thing. Yes, crackhead is a very elementary school base level type of insult, right? But I'm gonna let can confirm or deny this. But the type of environment where I come from, if you were to say that, it would be the fastest way to visit an orthodontist you've ever seen in your life.
That's a testament to my intuition.
A dental surgeon would be in your near future. However,
that's a testament to my intuition that I was able to hear your voice once and immediately know what would push your buttons. I'm just brilliant. I mean, I'm empathetically brilliant.
Oh no! What pushed my buttons was that you're a fucking immature child. You cannot let someone.
I'm very advanced in my level of social acuity. I can.
I'm sure for a 28-year-old in your mother's basement, you're a very advanced man. I'm sure of this. The sweat from under your tits is probably cheesy, but these are things that don't bother me. I mean, the Fremunda is probably like, a Gouda level, but could you spread it on a cracker? That's the real point.
don't minimize boob sweat. Trying to wear a bra in the summer in Georgia, it's fucking uncomfortable.
Hey, you guys have that light autumn vintage going on. It's not quite as bad. My wife's got like double Fs, so she's believe me, I know. She knows. We know.
I mean,
I have to shop at a special store to get her bras that actually fit. So believe me, I know the game hurts.
Hold on. Here's the thing too. It's like I wasn't so much calling you out so you insult like everybody insults. My point is you jumped in because Puff was making a point, and you seemed to disagree with that point. And your argument against his point was fucking Pokemon crackhead alert. Like, I mean, you say you're so fucking brilliant. Well, why didn't you respond to his point and try and refute it?
Well, part of being brilliant is picking your battles and knowing how to push your opponent's buttons, right?
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't bother me because Tioga can confirm Pokimane is like one of the most paid ass fucking people on social media. Are you like for real? Like, come on. And crackheads. I mean, you've seen how popular Dave Chappelle was on Fear Factor. I mean, this is not going to get at me, right? But I mean,
that was not funny at all. That was not even. I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry, dude. Yes, it's very hard to laugh when you're getting roasted, man. When you get put on Front Street, man, your house is not the place to live at. I understand, but the thing is, though, if you just calm down, we will let you out of the kennel and the dog can sleep alone tonight.
Wow, that was poetic and a bit sharp. What was that even in reference to?
Well, I mean, you do want to get out of the cage, right? You stop getting beat with a stick.
Wait, if I'm in the cage, I'm sleeping alone or not alone?
No, right now you're not. The dog is very mad that you're in his cage right now. The dog is very mad. It's already stuck in the cage. Okay. Now you have to live with the dog. It's just a bad situation, man. And the dog's like,
you won't share any of your Famunda cheese.
Right. The dog's like, my cage smells like shit now. It's terrible. Understood. But I'm going to pass the mic back.
I'm going to jump in. We went from smearing Jesus to smearing each other. While fun and accurate, we have 24 minutes, and I'm going to wind this thing down. We haven't heard much from Marty. I would like... Marty, Tioga, I know I've seen in the side chat you're saying you're just here to hear the argument. If you want to pipe in something real quick, but then John, we need to probably start getting towards winding down and winding out.
Another like 10 minutes or so, we're gonna start winding it down. Another maybe 13, 20 after, we're gonna start giving everybody their final comments. But Sunflower, so you had your hand up, presumably to make some other point.
Real quick. So all I wanted to say, actually, to address Puff's point, is that now, while there are exceptions to this, in history, people do love taking credit for not only things they did, but even things other people did. So the idea that Pythagoras was, some sort of borderline like Shakespearean fictitious character in which someone did something as monumental as the Pythagorean theorem, but was so humble that they wanted to not even take credit for it and create a fictional character instead that created the theorem. Now that's possible and that's interesting. That's actually cool. I live for stuff like that, but it's unlikely. So that's what I would say regarding that. When monumental discoveries are made, generally people live and die on the fact that they made that discovery. Like Galileo, either they are killed for it or they are basically immortalized because of how impactful it was. Rarely do you see them say, I discovered this, but I'm going to create a fictional character and never take credit for it and live in the shadows. Now, that's cool and interesting. I like the theory, but it's not likely in history. So it's not a good thing to say, well, this is, Jesus, well, did he exist? Because Pythagoras, we're not even sure he existed. It's not a great comparison. It's at best interesting and at worst pathetic. So I'll end there.
Okay, so quick response. I'm going to make this very fast. You offered up the own points to defeat it yourself, right? You said people do things all the time, but they take credit for other people's stuff all the time. You don't find it a little odd that during the entire time of lords and serfs and the basically that type of environment and situation, that almost all the discoveries, all the important moves and shakes that happen are all done by people or almost always done by people of wealth or positions of aristocracy, positions of power, right? It doesn't strike you as a little bit odd, right? Well, that's because
would just mean that a Greek king would have stolen Pythagoras' claim and attributed it to himself. It wouldn't have.
No, you don't even have to be at that level. All you have to do is have a little bit of power. We know this just from American history. We have people.
You're not saying someone stole this thing and claimed it as their own. You're saying that the entire person and their discoveries were fabricated. That's a
no, not the discoveries. No. What we're saying is
on track.
What we've been saying the whole time is that the actual person, the whole fabric of the person, whole cloth did not exist. That they were patched together from stories and accoutrements from other people.
Different than what you just said when you said that the wealthy people stole the discoveries and attributed it to themselves.
They would. That is because
they have fabricated person.
The claim that they found these things is because it matches up because they have
stumbling.
No, because I have a stutter and I have a stutter and I have to get over it.
Take a second.
So what they do is they patch together many of these things, just like we had Edison do, right? Edison was not the amazing inventor that everybody. Edison had an army of ants underneath of him, just like lords did an army of serfs under them back in the day. And before that, we had it's escaping me, nobility before that, right? So we had kings and fealty and all that before we even had the lords and the serfs, right? So that was a system that existed, and always the first guy that was like any position of power that could take credit for it did take credit for it. They were not in the position of giving the little guy a bone back in the day, and they would take many things that were accomplishments of many people underneath their purview, and they would account all of them things to themselves, right? Making themselves. So you can make someone, and it's perfect that you brought up Shakespeare, right? Because Shakespeare, we don't disagree that those stories were written by a real person, but we disagree that person, the actual person of Shakespeare, existed and that he was one singular person.
No, exactly. That's my point, Puff.
And that's what we've been saying the whole time, is that this person, this Jesus. What I'm saying, what I was saying the whole time, which is what Knock is saying, is that this person that we call Jesus never actually existed. Very small pieces of this existed from other people that were not ever remembered, and that they were sewn together Frankenstein style and then perpetuated into the future. And because it's so far lost in the past, we can't for sure say that it's not there. But the power that the religion has through money right now is how they have pushed back to the point of, oh yeah, this is completely legitimate. When we have actual scholars in that realm, Gary, I'll let you speak in just a moment, that are beginning to push back again. That's what I'm saying. That Gary, like you said, is that it used to be the position that, scholars would push back and say that Jesus was not a real person. Now it has swung back to the position of Jesus was definitely a real person, and we can prove it.
Really quick, 30 seconds. The reason I brought up Shakespeare is because that's the most, I'd say by far, the most, enshrouded in mystery and controversial. Despite the fact that most scholars do agree that he was a person, there's at least more of a case that it was multiple people or there was a pen name, right, for Shakespeare than I think any other person in history. I brought that up to say you're now equating the mystery of Pythagoras to that of Shakespeare, which is absurd because it's unprecedented outside of Shakespeare that people would make. I mean, you got to keep in mind, Shakespeare was a playwright. Pythagoras did the Pythagorean theorem is still taught in like high school math to this day. That's a way more
Shakespeare's still taught in high school. I fucking read Shakespeare.
No, that's not my point. My point is when people made significant contributions to especially the maths and the sciences of that era, they would absolutely take credit for them.
Gary wanted to jump in.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we got 6 minutes, yo.
Okay, I'll try to be brief then. The thing is that there are people who say that William Shakespeare didn't write the works of Shakespeare, that it was the Earl of Oxford that it was Christopher Marlowe. I think he's got Stratfordians, if memory serves, which I think it does. The thing is that again, like the point I was really toward Puff is that the reason that consensus changed is that somebody came with actual evidence, an actual legitimate argument of why the position they held was incorrect. It would be like if someone wants to disprove evolutionary theory, they've got to get a hypothesis, a test, and stuff like that, and present it to people that actually go through the rigorous, and I mean rigorous, peer review paper. The thing is, not every biblical scholar is a Christian. Actually, a lot aren't. There are the people who are Hindus, there are people who are Sikhs, Muslim, Jews, atheists, agnostics, everything in between. Not all of them are Christians. The thing is, they don't argue about this point for this reason. Every argument I've seen against it is a conspiracy theory. Okay, but however it's painted up, it's a conspiracy theory. It's always, well, the Romans created it because they wanted to trap people in, or the ancient Jews did it to confuse people, or stuff like that. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And here's why. It comes from New Temple Judaism. That's where it comes from. And there was obviously a guy who was promoting that idea to the Jews at the time, and again, was teaching it within the Jewish world. And I'm talking about Ethiopia, Alexandria, stuff like that. And we have evidence of this, because Paul wrote letters to these churches which already existed in Corinth, in Carthage, in places like that. So the thing is that the reason that we bring up Paul's because the thing is, Paul talks about meeting Jesus, the brother of Jesus, and it's a disinterest conflict, which again, Bart Ehrman has said this is something that historians are interested in. They're not interested in the miracle stuff which you don't believe in. They're interested in this so much further. It's like, oh, I met Jesus' brother today. That's what he's talking about, the brother of the Lord. And again, actually, Josephus backs this up in his place. He's talking about Jesus as well. James, about James.
It's highly debated on whether or not James was the brother of Jesus. There's no doubt that James was the leader of that first Jewish sect of Christianity. There's probably no doubt that James and Paul butted heads about the Gentiles, without a doubt. But James could have been a brother in Christ, a brother in the religion, and even Jews, I do believe, used that terminology back then. I do believe that James was probably the actual brother of Jesus, if a man existed in history, but that is up for debate amongst scholarship.
Nah, could he have been like a Hulk Hogan brother, like brother?
Yeah, like a Christian brother,
Real quick, and I saw a really cool GIF the other day that had Hulk Hogan in it. Like I don't know what it was, but he was just like dancing back, like in one of his old fucking matches. They were interviewing him. It was fucking hilarious.
Hulk Hogan's a racist. Hashtag Hulk Hogan's a racist.
Yes, he is. Yeah. But he was also, him and Jesse Ventura, they were pushing the open in public husbands that are hooking up in secret thing way back in the day. Go back, look at some WWF. Him and they were getting down, dog.
Yeah, there were some swingers.
That's better than a body slam. That's the other. So one real quick question, and we're going to start wrapping it up. One real quick question for Sunflower. You believe in Jesus Christ and all of the supernatural claims about Jesus Christ. So why do you hate pagans? Sunflower, you're muted.
You're muted, Sunflower.
He might be AFK.
Wait, I'm sorry, the last part. What was the last question there?
Why do you hate pagans?
I don't hate pagans.
Oh, okay.
I think it's
a
joke. Anyone who identifies as a pagan, anyone who identifies as a pagan in 2020 is beyond a LARPer. They're confused beyond.
Meet Marty, Sunflower.
I find it funny, but I don't.
Bitch, I've been practicing witchcraft for almost 20 years.
Cognitive
dissonance. About?
Yeah. Hashtag my guy turned 5 fish into 1,000. Hashtag my guy walks on water. But yeah, pagans are fucking out in left field.
No, wait.
No, that's all right. No, we're done.
We do got to start wrapping it up.
Can I ask Sunflower?
We're going to get everybody
really
the last
quick
word.
question?
And we'll start with you, Sunflower. You get your last word. Go ahead.
Okay,
What's your last word?
I when I see pagans, people who identify as pagan, it's very evident to me that it's coming from the same place of sort of teenage rebellion, sort of like unactualized aversion to authority, and they're channeling that sort of like, I hate to use the word badass, but like badass sort of like poor person, like bohemian person. They think it's like.
Yeah, we got enough of that. We're gonna introduce you to Ocean. We've got enough of that. All right.
Real quick, John, Sunflower, if you're still in the chat, don't forget to email me. I posted it here. I posted it in the thing.
Backstage. Oh, there he goes. So we'll just go right around the horn from Sunflower. Marty, your final words, and please make them about Sunflower being an asshole.
I was just gonna say, why would you ask him that with 2 minutes left in the show? What is wrong with you? Yeah, so I guess me and Sunflower can have a talk on Knott's channel, because I don't do debates. So if he wants to have a conversation on how I'm not a fucking LARPer, if he emails me, or we can do that on here. But my channel is, I haven't did it yet, but it's going to be called Marty's Nerd Wars, so that's easier to find. And I might be setting up a debate between Knock and Leo about some Game of Thrones action.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. Yeah, I'm gonna write that shit down. I'm gonna remind myself that I gotta watch season 8.
Such a hard debate.
Hey, whatever happened to the fucking whatever happened to the Jake Kirk versus?
I gotta get a hold of Skylar Fiction. I was actually kind of
like I said, if he's not available, I will take the Kirk side.
Okay. All right. Well, we need someone for Picard, because Knock was going to do Picard.
No, that's what I'm saying. Knock is going to do Picard. I'll take the Kirk side.
No, it's going to be the other way around. Knock was going to do Kirk.
Knock was taking the Kirk side. Yeah, I'll take the Picard.
I was like,
Yeah. So let me get a hold of Skylar Fiction. If not, I have your email. But yeah, it's going to be Marty's Nerd Wars, and I have to change that soon. So like and subscribe as soon as I change.
By the way, Sunflower, stay in the side chat. I have a question for you.
Yeah, stay in the side chat, Sunflower.
Go ahead, Puff.
I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna have that's a very, I don't understand. I take the captain is gonna pull over for hookers and coke anytime. So anyway, but so last words. I guess, this is mind-boggling. Wow. So, just treat your service professionals right, because I just came out of the fucking freezing cold and I had to deal with this dickhead tonight. So, if you could just treat your service professionals right, we're doing our best. We don't want you to go to bed, cold at night, and we're going to bed warm. We want to make sure you go to bed warm. We want to make sure you take warm showers. But sometimes stuff just can't get fixed. Parts houses are closed. We try our damnedest, and it's just not going to happen. So please treat your service professionals right. Everybody be safe. COVID is really flaring up really bad right now. And other than that, check out the Surfs TV. I think you guys need to get a little bit more base. Anytime you want to raise arms with me, I'll be proud to join your side, Comrade Leo Phyllis. And everybody, do your thing. Next.
I just want to thank you for bringing to light the very important issue of tit sweat tonight. So thank you for that. Tioga, your final words for tonight.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, John and Knock, for having these discussions, even though sometimes they're dumpster fires. They're really cool, and everybody, I think, loves each other deep down on the inside. But yeah, Leo gave me a lot to think about what kind of evidence does historically prove that Jesus existed. I realize I don't know much, but
no.
You're right, not proof.
No.
So I am going to take that with me and figure some more of that out, so I know what I'm talking about next time. Yeah, anyways, thanks for talking.
Hey, Leo, your final words not real, save some of your voice for the debate tomorrow.
Oh, for sure. That's going to be fun. I have a feeling this dude's going to be arguing in circles most of the time, but we'll see how it goes.
You're debating tomorrow, Leo?
Yeah, I'm debating. Essentially, it's going to be like a materialism versus idealism debate
Who? Where?
here on this channel.
Oh, well, fuck, I didn't know that.
7 p.m.
Oh, man,
8
I
p.m.
work
Eastern,
till
yeah.
9. Oh, shit. I'll try.
So I have a question, a Jesse Lee Peterson style question for Sunflower. He's still in the YouTube live chat. Do you love black people?
Hey, Gary, your final words, man.
Answer that question for me, Sunflower.
Okay. I have a discussion with Lisa tomorrow, 10 p.m. GMT, about a show that is American time, because you have about 3 different flaming time zones. 4 different time zones. I do apologize. But yeah, I'm going to be having a conversation with Lisa tomorrow, hopefully.
Awesome. And Lisa, that leads right into you.
Okay. Gary, that was GMT you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll have to look that up with the converter thing.
Well, what is it? The GMT, he said what time GMT?
10 p.m. GMT.
And then you're in what time zone here?
Me, I'm in Pacific.
Okay, so that's 7, 10, it'd be
3 for you.
3 p.m. for you.
Okay,
Should be
3 p.m.
Hold on.
Yeah, 3 p.m.
10
for you.
GMT minus 6 is 4 p.m. for Central Standard Time. Yeah, it should be 2 p.m.
No, it'd be 3 p.m. It's
because I'm CST and I'm 6 hours behind.
GMT is +4 for Eastern. Pacific is 3 hours behind Eastern, so it would be 7 less 10.
It's
It'd be
plus
3
5 for it's plus 5.
The clocks
plus
went,
5.
Yeah,
Because for me it's plus 6.
the clocks fell back. So yeah, it would be +5 now. So yeah, Leo's right, 2 p.m. because the clock just went back.
Okay.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, I
If you just do what you said you were going to do, if you just punch in your time zone, what time is it when it's this time here, it'll tell you. But I'm pretty sure, almost 100% that Leo's right. Since the clocks went back, GMT is +5 for Eastern.
Yeah, and actually, I live in Oregon, and thank God Oregon's governor said we won't do that shit no more. So next year we are dropping it.
You guys are going to be late to everything, man. Just like Kramer was in Seinfeld when he said he wasn't going to do it anymore. All right. So the only thing I have to say is that the Apostate Alliance is now on Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern. This coming Monday, we will be playing a recorded interview with Sassy Heathen, and she. It was a less traditional Apostate Alliance episode because Sassy Heathen was not an apostate because she never believed in God. But I'll throw it over to Knock. We got several things coming up here that I'm sure he'll tell you about.
Knock us out, Jay. I'm sorry, I had to.
that was pretty good.
Real quick now, can I just, John, how come you've never had me on your channel? I'm pagan. I'm an apostate.
We can do that.
Well, yeah, we can do that.
Well, you're still a pagan though.
Yeah, but I was never a Christian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You haven't left paganism, so you're not an apostate.
Yeah, but I'm not a Christian, so that makes me an apostate by default.
Was you a Christian?
No.
Oh, yeah. See, you have to leave paganism. Yeah, in order to be an apostate, you have to leave paganism.
Okay.
I mean, you can come on this channel anytime you want, but as far as the Apostate Alliance, you have to be a non-believer.
Gotcha.
Interviewing believers, that's Knox shtick.
I'm just fucking with you, John.
I want to thank everybody for being here. A shorter open room. I do got a lot coming up tomorrow. We are having a debate. It's going to be a loose philosophy debate. Leo Filius versus Jamie Black. Friday at noon Eastern. I do believe the first panel's full. I got to get into my emails, but there'll be other panels for this, so reach out to me. You can see it on the screen, my email address. Matt Powell's newest movie review, The Atheist Religion. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I think tonight we had Pythagorum's first dumpster fire tonight. I don't think that's ever happened before.
I say one thing, and I promise it will be really, really super
yeah,
quick.
go for it.
I just want to say I absolutely love everybody here, and I hope I didn't like piss anybody off too bad.
Oh no, you're good.
You never pissed us off. You don't piss us off. I mean, I generally like most every word that comes out of your mouth, but sometimes there's just so many of them.
You did make my mama come out at me though. I was like, dang, ain't you got no home training?
Oh, that's funny.
It gets like that.
And then so B here and C Leo. Leo usually does very well in his debates. It should be very fun tomorrow night. And Friday at noon is going to be a hoot. Because I got to tell you, I thought the name of Powell's last movie was stupid. This is a whole new level of
What's
stupid.
this one called?
The Atheist
This one's
Religion.
called
Atheist Religion.
All right.
The last one was called Science, so-called something.
Well,
something.
that was the last one was Hebrew Roots, a really stupid, boring movie nobody watched. But yeah, so you're forgiven for not knowing that one, John. You know, I'm a cupcake whisperer, so I know these things.
You're a cupcake. Well, he's a ginger twink. So
That's what R. Rod calls him, the ginger one.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So my final word for the night, and we're gonna get out of here. If you want to have a conversation where atheists go at each other's throats, you bring up the historicity of Jesus. The problem with history is it only matters really this one time. Did this one guy come back from the dead? Throughout history, people believed in God. That God belief, of course, influenced that history. Every history, every culture. Did Jesus exist? No, not the Jesus of the Bible. Do people use their beliefs in Jesus to demonize gay people? Yes. Do people use their Jesus belief to shame women that have sex outside of marriage? Yes. I could go on and on. That is why the existence of this one dude matters, and it is why the conversation always gets heated. Mythicism is the atheist position. We can't let the Christians divide us. You guys have a great night.
Much love to the panel.
Boop. Let's do it right. All right. So the right closing. Thank you, patrons.